Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to RetroIsland.com. The only site for everything retro. The Retro Island Network for everything retro. RetroIsland.com. Welcome to episode 71 of I Got Gameplay.
Come on for breath of air, Burhan.
Yes. Thank you, Travis, and welcome to an awesome episode that we did today. And we're a few episodes from 100. We're doing pretty good at the moment today, I think, in terms of talking about a subject that kind of has to be touched on, because we did a Nintendo episode way back with our former host, of course, myself, Sean Mitchell, Nick Abrams, Mike Payden, Brandon Ligon, of course. And I thought, you know what, let's do it again. We need to do it, and we need to basically get this out of the way, of course. Not out of the way, but I think a positive spin needed to be put on Nintendo in a sense, because they've been getting a lot of flack lately, and it's something that we needed to sort of get off our chest, so to speak, and be the big gorillas that we are and say, hey, stop, trying to be positive people. So, what we're doing today is we're going to be doing this nice Nintendo Retrospective, and then first introduce you to our host for tonight. Of course, Xander Scullion is going to be on in a little bit. He's just, doing his hair, I think. He is bald, but yeah, he's doing his hair, and he'll be on in a second. So I'll introduce him first, of course. It's the Rose Colored Let's Play himself, Rose Colored Reviews, and also an awesome fellow. He is Mr. Travis Goss.
Hey, how's it going, everybody?
Say hello to the bad guy. Yeah, it's bad. Not bad at all, Travis. What have you been up to today? Initiative day for you?
Oh, not too much. Just got over the flu, because this past week I haven't been on any shows, because I practically had a terrible voice. It was very unpresentable. So I was like, I need a break. So, did that, and today, since I was feeling miles better, I went on a bit of a shopping spree, and I bought me, a Wii U Pro Controller.
Ooh. Look at you, Mr. Contour.
Yes, I mean, I got to have the most sophisticated of all things.
You know what, I've actually used one of those, I have to admit, it is extremely sexy.
Oh, I love this thing, oh my gosh. One thing I love about it so much is it has an incredible battery. It's like, you get the thing fully charged, it lasts up to 80 hours. I was like, that gamepad is going to be sitting on my shelf there for a little while.
Yeah, it's one of those controllers. It reminds me of the Xbox 360 controller in a sense, because the controller itself is really, it's very, very versatile. You have the two sticks on there as well, and the great thing about it now, it can actually work as a secondary controller, because I thought at first you could only use the Pro Controller instead of the tablet controller, but that's not the case. If I played Mario 3D World with it, and I was second player using the Pro Controller, it was awesome sauce. Now, speaking of awesome sauce, of course, we've got another individual here. He's famous from the Access Gaming Podcast. He's a great guy, and he also does a cool Optimus Prime. He is Mr. Zach Scullion.
Hey everyone, sorry I'm late. I was having some Skype issues, and but no, I'm here. I'm here, guys.
He's here. He's queer, and
I was trying not to say.
Yes, I just went a little bit Simpsons there. Where'd you hear that from? That's kind of catchy. I heard it from some parade. So yeah, we got Xander here. So what was going on with your Skype? Was it just being an SOB?
Yeah, it was just it was taking a long time to get on the load screen for me to sign in. I've been working on some stuff all day, so I have to shut out of Skype or it slows my computer down. And I was trying to upload it back up, and it was just being annoying.
Well, I'm glad we've got you on the show tonight, Xander. We're talking Nintendo, which is something you're very, very familiar with. And we've also got someone fairly new here. He's been a regular on a Happy Console Gamer forum, the Extra Game Podcast forum, and he runs a lot of forums himself. He's a gentleman by the name of Zach. Now, Zach, introduce yourself and tell us what you do.
Hi everyone, I'm Zach, man. So I'm just a hardcore gamer, to be honest. I just love retro games all my life. Since I can remember, I've been playing Super Nintendo, Super Mario World. Excellent game. I live in France, originate from England. And yeah, I'm here today to talk about the Wii U, of course, which is a console that has just been getting hate, and it's really driving me mad because the people who hate it don't even own one, I swear to God.
That's another thing we're actually going to be talking about in a little bit. So, Zach, how did you migrate over to France? What made you make that choice?
Well, I came over with my parents, to be honest. So I grew up here as a child. It wasn't really my choice. But, you know, I got used to it, you know. In the old boot fairs, you find old retro games, and I just collect. My room's a whole monster of consoles, to be honest. You know. I'm not a huge fan of video games in general.
Well, that's actually pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Myself, Xander, and Travis included, are huge gaming console fans, and I think one of the commonalities that we have on the show is our passion for gaming. We all run our own YouTube channels as well, and we have our own sort of diverse content, but we share that huge passion of gaming and geekdom. And
yeah.
That's the one thing as well. If you guys want to join in on the discussion with us, you can do by giving us a ring on our lovely number of 718-664-9265. That's 718-664-9265, or just click on that Skype button at the top there, above the player, or join us in the chat, because I'm going to be opening up the chat as well for us to have a discussion and bits and pieces on there as well. So as we go from there, we're going to have a common theme, as always, before we start the show, and that's talk a bit of news. So let's do that. If it would actually do it. I'm pressing the soundboard and I can't hear it. There we go. So, Xander Scullion, what's in the news this week?
Oh man, gaming news I haven't really been following too much. But I did make a video that I uploaded not too long ago, and Zach, you probably saw it because I put it on the Happy Console Gamer group page and on XS Gaming, and that was about the last Nintendo Direct, and I think this is very appropriate since we're talking about the Wii U, and I mean some people have watched the video and they kind of take it out of context. Like, they watch it and they kind of think of me as someone that's trying to bash the Wii U, but it's more of it's not so much of a bash as much as a concern. It's a very concerned video because they did the Nintendo Direct last Tuesday, and they mentioned it was going to be a Smash Brothers theme Nintendo Direct, and I was really excited about it, and so they talked about it, and they mentioned, of course, I mean, I already knew Smash Brothers was coming out for the 3DS and the Wii U, but the release dates are separate. The one on the 3DS is coming out summer of 2014, and the one that's coming out for the Wii U is going to be coming out for the winter. And I made a video talking about that because I think this is I think it's a terrible idea, honestly.
Yeah, I agree with you wholeheartedly on that one. But just touch on that a little bit. Why is it a terrible idea, Sam? Explain to everybody who hasn't seen it why you feel that this is such a bad idea, what Nintendo's doing.
Well, I mean, simply put, I mean, Zach mentioned it earlier in the podcast. A lot of people slam the Wii U because they don't own one. The Wii U it's a very, very interesting console this generation. One of the things is too, I mean, the 3DS is one of the hottest systems out there. It's not just an awesome handheld, but it's been outselling actual home consoles like Xbox One and PS4, and everyone has a 3DS. So why would you do that in the sense of releasing a huge game like Smash Brothers, a definite game pusher, on a console that everyone already has before releasing it for the winter season? You see what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't really make any sense because, I mean, the best way to put it is, I mentioned on the Excess Gaming Podcast, to me it would be like them releasing Super Mario World on the Nintendo and then a couple of months later releasing it on Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
That's how much sense it makes. You know,
I get his point, yeah.
You make a game like this, a hot app. You make something like this to push a console, and the Wii U has had such a drought in gaming. If you guys are listening, go to GameStop, ask for a pre-order sheet. Ask for a pre-order sheet for PS4 and ask for a pre-order sheet for Wii U, and look at the huge difference. And, you know, I was mentioning this, and people were talking about, you know, like, oh, well, they just don't want to release too many first-party games at once. The problem is they're having hardly any third-party support, but they're releasing first-party games 5 months span. So that 5 months you have nothing, where you had the PS4 and Xbox One pumping out titles left and right, and that's really going to put a financial strain on Nintendo.
Yeah, the thing is that I don't understand about this, and in my opinion, they've basically shot themselves in the foot. Because the problem is this: if you've got people who own the 3DS and the Wii U, they will be more inclined to buy this game on the Wii U if they were released together, right? But what you've done is you've given them no choice. People are going to buy this game to stop it from being leaked online, like the gaming properties and everything in terms of Let's Plays. They're going to buy the 3DS version. They're not going to buy the Wii U version. Delay the Wii U version with no incentives whatsoever. They're going to buy that 3DS version, and they're going to say, fuck you to the Wii U. Now, if you release the Wii U version first, people would still buy the 3DS version. They would have bought the Wii U version first. They would have given them a reason to buy this console. The fact that they've done this is beyond stupid. I mean, it makes you sit there, scratch your head and think, Nintendo, what the fuck is your problem? It literally does, and I love Nintendo, and I'm speaking of this as a fan, right? As someone who loves gaming, I love Nintendo. I was born with a Nintendo controller. Well, I wasn't exactly born, but you know what I mean. I had my first console was a Nintendo Entertainment System, and by making these stupid decisions, it makes no sense. The 3DS is safe. The 3DS has titles like Pokemon, Animal Crossing, titles that have cemented that console, and titles that are made for that handheld console. When you do a game like Super Smash Brothers, you want to release it on the home console first. You don't want to release the 3DS version, because what you are doing, you are alienating those who have purchased your Wii U, that have had faith in Nintendo, and are still sitting there thinking, oh, you know, there's still hope. Nintendo aren't going to do it. And the only thing, I know people comparing this to the Virtual Boy, they compared it to the Dreamcast. The reason why the Wii U is getting such flack lately is because Nintendo aren't releasing games for this thing. It's Nintendo's fault. As a company, they are not doing anything to give this console a push. Smash Brothers would have been that game to give it a push, and they've totally crapped all over it by making this decision. Travis, what do you think? Do you agree with myself and Xander here, or do you think that there is a sort of a meaning behind Nintendo's madness here?
Well, I'm going to play devil's advocate with this. I know that it's to you guys, it does seem like Nintendo isn't really embracing the Wii U by making this decision. What I think what they're trying to do is they know that Super Smash Bros. Is a hot profiled game, and I know they've been working on the 3DS version and the Wii U version congruently, you know, working them side by side. What I like to think what's going on is the 3DS version, they did put a lot of heart and soul into it, and they've just, you know, they've done all that they could in that game. So yeah, we're going to put this out in the summer. Meanwhile, they're still trying to put all the fine polish and tune into the Wii U version because they think that's what's going to drive sales to the Wii U. And why they're doing it at the wintertime, I guess that kind of makes sense because what they want to do is they know that this is going to be a very, very widely desired game for the fans, and for those who don't have a Wii U, perfect time to buy a Wii U is during the holiday time. And with this game coming out, I'm willing to bet that's when they're going to release the game is for the holidays.
All right, let me ask you a question.
All right.
For instance, you've got a 3DS and you've got a Wii U, right?
Mm-hmm.
If they released the game in the summer, would you be more inclined to buy it in the summer for the 3DS release? Or would you buy it basically in the winter for the Wii U release? I know you're a diehard, you're probably going to buy both. But if you bought the summer one, you've completed it, what incentive do you have to buy the Wii U version?
Well, we have to remember, is Nintendo's also saying that there's going to be things that are in the 3DS version of Super Smash Brothers that you can actually transfer over to the Wii U, or use things you found in the 3DS version and put them onto the Wii U version. That's probably what the incentive is. I mean, I agree with you guys. It seems weird that they are releasing these games at separate times of the year. It would have made a lot more sense to go ahead and release them at once, or maybe release the 3DS version 1 week, and then maybe a couple weeks later, here comes the Wii U version, or maybe a month later. That would have made a little more sense, possibly. But at the same time,
both at the same time would have made more sense because people would have had a choice to buy one or the other. Not releasing the 3DS one first, because then the Wii U people basically don't have the same game to play, and they're going to be driven to purchase the 3DS version. You're shooting yourself in the foot in a sense, because they're not looking at this as an ideal platform to sell more views. It's like if people want Nintendo can sell Wii, they basically sold that based on first-party titles. So same first-party titles on the DS, right, and then release the DS version first. You aren't migrating over to the Wii. You're basically playing everything on the DS itself. That's going to be right. It's kind of killing the console itself in a sense.
Well, I mean, I can see that point too. I really do. I mean, right now, I agree. The Wii U, and I absolutely love this thing. I mean, I wouldn't say this is the best system Nintendo ever came out with, because that actually goes to the Super Nintendo, in my opinion. But at the same time, Nintendo has to realize that, I mean, they are all about releasing quality games. So that's when it comes to Nintendo, that's the first thing anybody thinks of is they release quality titles. Great. But at the same time, they need to bring out more quality titles so that way they can get more games being developed and also help push more systems to be sold. That's understandable. And maybe that's why that Nintendo had looked to a bunch of second-party developers to help develop games for that system so that way they can push out more first-party titles and everything. But it's really hard to say exactly why Nintendo made this decision. I know they are trying to think of things in the business standpoint, but what's going on right now is I fully understand they need more games for the system, and I will admit they have fumbled a little bit when it comes to releasing the Wii U version during the wintertime, when we have other games when we need the game right now to try to get more systems sold and all that stuff. I fully understand that, but it's hard to say. But I will say that graphically, both games are different. The 3DS version has more of a cel-shaded style, which is pretty unique. Kind of an interesting take on the way the game is drawn and everything. And, of course, the Wii U version is going to be fucking amazing looking. But who knows? There may be like an ulterior motive as to why they're doing this. So it's kind of hard to say.
Okay, and last but not least, Zach, what do you think of this?
Well, there's two things. I've got 2 points. You're saying that releasing the 3DS version first is a bad the flaw, what they're doing is not right. But if we look at Resident Evil Revelations, which was a 3DS exclusive at first, and a year later they released it on all consoles, the Wii U version sold nearly 1 million units. Now that is huge. So I don't really think there's a problem if they release whatever version first. Now, if we're going to talk about why is everyone bashing the Wii U and why is it not selling well, I think if we look at the name Wii U, I know it sounds stupid, but Wii U there's not much difference between the Wii and the Wii U. I mean, most people, like parents, are not going to know it's a new console. I think most people out there think it's just like an update, like PS3 Slim. I know that sounds stupid, but are you telling me 99 million people who bought the Wii are all gamers like us, hardcore gamers who know everything? I don't think so. I think they're parents who just buy their kids consoles, right? So I think the Wii U is sold poorly because of the name in itself. Now that's what I think. And about the Super Smash Brothers releasing that first on the 3DS, I don't think there's a problem with that. I mean, they're just doing it because it's not fully finished on the Wii U version. They're trying to polish all the, what was it, Alexander said they're going to polish it all and everything. So I don't think there's a problem with that. Anyways, that's what I think anyway.
Well, the thing is about this, it doesn't seem like a good move by Nintendo. I think, as Xander aptly pointed out, it just doesn't seem like they're thinking about the home console. They're kind of sweeping it under the rug, so to speak, and concentrating all their efforts on the 3DS, which, fair enough,
yeah, well, it's selling, isn't it? If the 3DS is what's keeping Nintendo in the market right now, because the Wii U is going down. It's outsold the PS4 in Japan, but 9 million units in 2 years. Let's be realistic, that's not a lot.
Whose fault is that, though? Is that Nintendo's fault? Or is that...
It's the third part, it's the publisher's fault, like EA. They're not even developing on the game, they abandoned it.
Well, EA,
that's their fault.
Assholes anyway. No one really gives a fuck about EA. I don't care about Madden or...
Yeah, but no one cares. But most people play FIFA instead of Mario Kart, for example. Most people play Call of Duty instead of anything. So we're not going to get... I know there is Call of Duty on the Wii U, but they're going to have to bring in what sells. They don't care about fans. They care about money. And if they're not going to see a profit in releasing their games on the Wii U, that's why they're all like bolting out. They're like bagging. So Nintendo is going to have to get pouncing money and invest in in publishers like third-party support. And that's what's going to save the Wii U. And they have to market up the campaign up the arse. And so they've got to do huge advertising. There's not a lot of advertising over it as well. That's my point.
Yeah, I can agree with you on that one. Okay, so segueing on from that now, let's go to you, Travis. Travis, got any news for us?
Yes, I do. Everybody here is excited about Watch Dogs, right?
Yeah.
No, I'm not.
Okay. Well, some.
I am.
Kind of corner in a sense because they have cancelled the Wii U version, which
I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that.
Oh, okay. You got some good news then.
Yeah, Watch Dogs, Ubisoft's Hackfest action title, will release for Wii U this fall.
Thank frig for that, because I remember there was murmuring that they would actually not be releasing it.
But see, here's the thing: when's the other versions being released for Watch Dogs?
I'll get to that here in a moment. Ubisoft's Uplay store slates the Wii U release for 2014, but the game is no stranger to delays. Nintendo News site Nintendo Enthusiast said it reached out to Ubisoft and confirmed the fall's 2014 release. The release for the Wii U delay is the reason we are likely suspected, which is oddly worded right there. Ubisoft isn't certain how to approach the Wii U gamepad quite yet. According to Nintendo Enthusiasts, the company is taking time to explore the gamepad and be able to have fun with it and see how far they could push it. Elsewhere, Watch Dogs is still scheduled for release for PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, Xbox 360, and Xbox One on May 27th. Earlier this year, an unknown third party attempted to abandon the Watch Dogs trademark on behalf of Ubisoft and posing as CEO Yves Guillemot, can't pronounce his name, because the trademark is definitely Watch Dogs rather than the game's official stylized Watch_Dogs. But no, that's still awesome that that game is coming out for the Wii U. It's going to take a little bit of time, but I think this could be one of the games for the Wii U where a company is going to take a step as to further explore what the gamepad can actually do other than just be a second display for a game. So this is actually really awesome news.
What do you think of this, Xander? As I said, you were kind of down on the fact that they weren't going to put this out, and you kind of broke the news as well that Watch Dogs may not have been released on the Wii U. And now the fact that that's back on again, it seems like the fans have gotten what they wished for. What do you think of this?
I want to be very optimistic. But honestly, I don't have that much of a good gut feeling about it, and the reason why is because while it looks good on paper, and I'm hoping that it does help push sales towards the Wii U. My problem is they're releasing it a little later than PS4 and Xbox One, and I'm hoping that when this happens, Ubisoft isn't looking at the fact that, oh, well, it's selling more on Xbox One and PS4, it's just not selling that great on the Wii U for some reason. We're just going to continue not to really do that much with the Wii U. That's what I'm hoping, that doesn't happen. Because, you look at it, it's coming out, it's kind of back to that same thing with Smash Brothers. If it comes out for one thing, it's gonna get that momentum from that aspect first before it gets on the other part.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree. I totally agree on that. So hopefully we may see something a bit more positive come out of this, especially from the fact that Ubisoft have been so kind of down on Nintendo as of late. And again, I can understand it because the brass at Nintendo aren't promoting the console or its games properly. So, hopefully that will all change. What about you, Zach? What do you think about this? Do you think this is a good thing?
Well, to be honest, I just think the Wii U is actually going to be doomed. Like, if they don't start selling whatever they can do, bring like new games or anything, and all first party titles or whatever, it's not going to make a difference. They're making Mario games like every year now. PS4 has mostly like almost sold out the Wii U in a month. Because the Wii U is sold like 10 million?
Yeah, but think about the PS4. What does that cater to? The PS4 and the Xbox One, I'm not being funny, they cater to more of the hardcore gamers, the guys who like their FPS shooters. It's not a game platform per se.
You mean about variety?
Yeah, it's not a game platform. It doesn't do what Nintendo does in a sense.
What's different? What does Nintendo do that Sony don't? Well, they have two titles. What they use now is Zelda and Mario. All of Metroid is dead. They don't even release any games like that anymore. I don't know what's wrong with them.
In a sense, the thing about the PS4 and the Xbox One, they actually go for frames per second. So they work on basically being like the next big thing in terms of consoles, like reality and stuff like that.
That's just what sells, isn't it? They're trying to. That makes it's like in the days of Sega versus Nintendo. 16-bit, Sega does what Nintendo don't. That's just like a slogan. They're just saying that to make people buy them. It's not necessarily true.
Totally agree with you, but at the same sense, one of the reasons that made me buy, for instance, the Wii U wasn't just nostalgia. It was because of the fact that I'm a huge fan of the Nintendo.
Same here.
And I'm also a family man, so I want to make sure I can play a console that I can play with my kids. For instance, for those of you people who don't know, I've been playing a Mario 3D World Let's Play on my YouTube channel, which has been getting some good feedback for some weird reason, with my nephew, with my daughters, and my son, and everyone's been having a ball with it. And the thing about it is I can't do that with them on the PlayStation 4. I wouldn't be able to do that with them on the Xbox One. I couldn't do that with the Xbox 360. Like there was a game I was looking at like the other day that I was going to buy, which was Titanfall for the 360. I was looking at that, and my nephew wanted a Wii U game, so I chose the Wii U game, for instance. Why? Simple. He's a kid. I'm not going to go and buy Titanfall and have him sit there and swear at people online and shoot them.
Yeah, that is a good point, but you have to, realistically, Nintendo has to bring out an adult game on the Wii U. They have to bring out like Grand Theft Auto 5. They bring that game out. That's going to attract people to the Wii U. I mean, you want to keep it a family console. Okay, they should have parental controls exist on PS3 and PS4, and that's up to the parent.
Yeah,
I mean,
at the same sense, I think Nintendo have always thought that they had a market in terms of the home console, whereas the other consoles, as I said, they're for hardcore gamers. They're for the people that can play anything in terms of like the hack and slash and the FPS guys, like that. Where with Nintendo, it's a whole different story. And it's more of a versatile console. Yes, they don't have too many gore games, but it's more family oriented.
Yeah.
Travis, have you got anything else for us?
What I was also going to say, I can't see why they can't release Grand Theft Auto 5 or a Grand Theft Auto game for the Wii U, because they've done that before. Rockstar released Grand Theft Auto Advance for the Game Boy Advance, which I thought was pretty cool. I loved it. I had a lot of fun with that game. And then they had Grand Theft Auto Chinatown Wars that launched on the DS, and that sold like crazy. And I bought a copy of that game, and I mean, it was a weird art style they went with for that one, but it was still a cool game. It took place around the same time as GTA 4.
Oh.
What?
What was it?
I was just saying that that Grand Theft Auto Chinatown Wars, that took place around the same time as GTA 4, I think.
And that was on the Wii, was it?
No, that was on the DS.
Oh, I see.
and then came on to PSP as well.
Yeah, it was later ported to the PSP, and I think they just refined it just a little bit and actually added a better soundtrack, I think. But it was still pretty cool. I was pretty tight. I liked it. But anyways, I don't think they ever will release a GTA game for a Nintendo home console, but you never know. But anyways, I got another piece of news here. During a recent interview with Edge, Peter Molyneux states he strongly believes Microsoft will eventually release a Kinect-less version of the Xbox One in the future. His main reasons were the Kinect not being geared towards non-Americans as a future cost-cutting move. The first reason revolved on several of the Xbox One's features, involving the device either are not available or tailored to users outside of America. And the second reason revolved on a Kinect-less version being an inevitable decision toward Microsoft's need to reduce the Xbox One manufacturing costs and close the pricing gap to the PS4. What I've always wondered about this is why they've even had the Kinect being part of the Xbox One out of the box,
I think I know why about that. I think the Kinect is the modern day version of Rob the Robot. It's just to make people want the Xbox One more. I mean, you've got a little kid saying to his dad, "Oh, with the Xbox One you can get a camera and the console. With PS4, you don't get that." So that's why they're doing that. I mean,
I love the Owen impersonation there. It's like making Americans sound like they're from Texas.
But that never bothered.
That's just my crappy American accent then.
But yeah, no, I agree with you wholeheartedly. It's basically something that they feel is unique, but they know that people won't buy it on its own.
PS2 did that with the iToy. It's the same thing. I prefer the iToy than the Kinect, to be honest. That was a cool thing.
Yeah, I agree with you wholeheartedly.
I just don't understand why they even had to have that in the first place. I mean, how many games out there really, really take advantage of the Kinect? I mean, let's really think about that. How many games?
It's stupid.
Seriously, it's the thing about how many games really have come out for that system where you had to have the Kinect. It doesn't make any sense. Oh, you can wave your hand from it and turn it on. Or hey, I want to watch TV. I'll just use my hand and go, whoop, 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 TV.
Betrayal! Betrayal! Betrayed me!
And then, of course, I hit this button with my hand. All of a sudden, we have Spoonie yelling betrayal at me.
Yeah, but it is true. It's like I think the only game I'd ever played on the Kinect that works was the Michael Jackson Experience. They're literally the only game. Everything else, actually, no. And Kinect Racing, it was called Kinect Joyride. But those games only consist of a few movements. When you start getting a bit versatile with it, that's when it starts fucking up. And the problem with it, I've even had problems where I've been sitting down talking to someone and it will pause something on Netflix because it thinks I'm telling it to pause. I'm like, no, I'm having a conversation with the kid's mum here. You know, I'll be like, can you make me a cup of tea? And it's paused it. Xbox, play. Xbox, play. Fucking play! And then you have to just get the fucking joypad and just do it yourself. With the new one, I heard it's still just as non-responsive. So the only way that they're going to get people to get this is by bundling it in to recoup costs. If they end up doing a Kinectless one, they're just going to have a bunch of Kinects flying around that ain't going to be worth shit. You know, they're trying to get this gimmick over, but it's not an important one unless you're a collector. So, Xander, what about you? What do you think about this? Do you think a Kinectless Xbox One is a good idea?
I think it's a great idea. I think it's the first. It's been the one of the biggest problems that people's talked about the Xbox One to begin with. Like everyone's been like, I don't want to connect, you know. And I mean, granted, there's some people that are like, you know, the Kinect's pretty awesome. You can tell the TV to switch it to a different channel. I can do this and do that, and you know. But when it all comes down to it, a lot of people don't want it. And if they do come out with Xbox One with no Kinect, that'd be great. I just hope that it doesn't come out with no Kinect and a diskless hard drive.
They already planned that. They've planned an Xbox One without a DVD drive or a Blu-ray drive, for that matter. It's going to be download only.
That's a bad move already.
Yeah, and it's just basically part of Microsoft's plan to get to the whole basis of buying into the DRM thing that they're doing.
How about people who don't have internet? What are they going to do with that?
As Don Matrix said, well, if you don't have internet, buy an Xbox 360.
Yeah, but there's only going to be so much time before Microsoft doesn't support the 360 anymore. So once they drop support of the 360, it's going to be like the original Xbox. Except the only thing that's going to suck is there's games that you've probably downloaded that you might not be able to play if there's no more service.
There's no might not. They won't be able to play without a patch. The good thing is the modding community has patches to actually go over that, which I'm not going to get into. But the thing about pissing, I've got a downloaded version of Minecraft that if I have it on disc, anyone can play it. I've got the downloaded version, it costs just as much, and I'm the only one who's allowed to play it because I'm signed in. If I sign out, no one else can play it. It goes straight to the demo. That's right. You know, it doesn't make sense at all. But still, it's Microsoft's vision, so to speak. Xbox One is a good idea, and I'm going to mirror what Dan has said here, that it's something that we don't want and don't need, but it's sort of a niche thing. So we'll see how that goes. Any more news for us, Travis?
That's basically the hot items of this week. I mean, the whole thing about the Smash Brothers, Nintendo Direct, and that thing about Watch Dogs, which I'm extremely excited about, and hopefully one day having an Kinectless Xbox One. Pretty much anything else will be coming out of PAX this weekend. And there really hasn't been a whole lot of stuff coming out just yet, so the weekend's not over yet, but I'm sure more news is coming out here real soon.
Speaking of PAX, I do want to give a huge shout-out to Zach and Kyla from Getting Your Nerd On. You know, they're in PAX East right now.
Yes, they are. And, it's one of the reasons why Zach isn't here today. He's with Kyler, and they're getting their nerd on down at PAX East. Kyler's sent some amazing Facebook updates, like I've just got my phone in the toilet. And Zach has basically put some pictures up of himself posing with Earthworm Jim. So, we're going to get a huge retrospective there from Zach. Tyler, I hope your phone's okay. That is not in the toilet too much. But,
there is...
Yeah, go on, Travis.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was going to say there was one major game announcement that was made for Xbox One.
Go for it.
You guys ready for it? Soda Drinker Pro. It's coming to Xbox One in September. Oh, geez. The wild world of soda drinking simulation is finally making the leap to the next generation, as Soda Drinker Pro is coming to the Xbox One. Will Brierly, the game's creator, tells Joystick, which is where I got the news from. Harnessing the power of Kinect, Xbox One users can drink actual soda to complete the game's various soda chugging challenges, or at least mimic the action to control the game. Also included is Soda Drinker Pro's secret game, Vivian Clark, a lucid dreamlike platforming minigame. The Xbox One version will also feature exclusive levels, including a drinking soda through time experience, offering soda fans the opportunity to sip in various environments, including the Roaring Twenties. Wait, I can do it better. The Roaring Twenties!
A soda drinking through time?
Yeah.
So there's no soda embargo?
I don't know.
Oh, my God.
Brierly confirmed that the game would run at 60 frames per second and 1080p.
The soda needs 60 frames per second. But can I ask, is it sponsored by Coca-Cola or Pepsi?
No, it's not. It's this one. It's
RC Cola.
Oh yes, yeah. There was something funny about that. Whatever, I forgot. But anyways, yeah. Have you guys actually seen Soda Drinker Pro on the internet at any point?
No, but I did see if you put a thing of Mentos and Diet Coke, it turns into a rocket ship.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Do that in their mouth. Actually put the Mentos in the Coke and then put it in their mouths and then throw up violently afterwards. So, yeah.
Fatality.
Coke-ality.
Actually, it's just to have Mentos in your mouth, and then you just go up to a random person, take a swig of Diet Coke, and all of a sudden it's shooting out of your mouth and spray it over the person. That's fucking hilarious.
Lawsuit. We are out there play. Don't actually commit anybody to put in their mouth.
No,
own risk, and I'm sorry, I am not paying your legal fees. So,
Mentos soda are meant for enjoyment.
And maybe...
not to harass coworkers.
Yeah, and also for...
At the water cooler.
So let's continue on the gaming news front. As I look up gaming news. So I like Dan, was basically going through the newest in terms of gaming news. And it's been a fun, but again, it's not been... For a week that we've actually had PAX East, there hasn't been much stories going around, so we're going to probably get a vote from these tomorrow. So Naughty Dog will make several anniversary announcements this year. Naughty Dog will celebrate their 30th anniversary this year, and in doing so, there'll be several anniversary announcements happening over the coming months. Blog.us.playstation.com have actually been putting this out, that they're basically headline back to 1984 when Andrew Gavin and Jason Rubin formed the company called Jam, Jason and Andy Magic. 5 years later, finding a new publishing support, the development company with the 80s name incorporated as Naughty Dog Inc. Fast forward to 2014 and tally up more than 70 million games sold globally, and now they're celebrating 30 years in making awesome games. One of the hallmarks of Naughty Dog has been their top-notch artistic quality and talent. They're paying tribute to them, basically, and they're a team with Dark Horse Comics with a release of The Art of Naughty Dog. Ooh, I'm going to get myself a copy of that bitch. The Art of Naughty Dog will be available later this year and will span a history of Naughty Dog that features hands, pieces, and never-before-released artwork depicting the past, present, and so future. Speaking of the fact that it was the same comic book company that released the Hyrule Historia in terms of Dark Souls, what do you guys think of this? Xander, do you think it's a great thing? Are you around the art of Naughty Dog?
I think Naughty Dog is such a staple, especially with Sony. They've came out with so many, a huge spectrum of different games and different art styles. I mean, you got everything from like Ratchet and Clank to The Last of Us. So I mean, like, it would be really cool. I mean, I would actually really like it if when they released Art Book, if they kind of released some early concepts of maybe like Crash Bandicoot or, you know, some of the really, really early Naughty Dog games. That would be phenomenal. I'd love that.
Yeah, no, I agree totally in terms of that. What about you, Travis? Yeah, do you think it's going to be one of those books that you want to buy, that you want to partake in?
I think I would get a copy of that because of Naughty Dog, we've had great games such as Crash Bandicoot, and that's actually one of Chris Dace's favorite game. Hey, Chris. Chris Dace, how's it going? Chris. And of course, what's that?
Chris Dace.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, they've made so many really great games, and I'd just love to get, just a piece of their history, just to, see how far they've come. This is definitely something I would love to put on my bookshelf.
Very much so. Zach, what about you? Are you going to grab that?
Well, not really, no, because not to offend anyone who likes Naughty Dog, but I just think they're a tad overrated. I think everyone loves their games a bit too much. I mean,
Betrayal! Betrayal! Betrayed me!
Good thing, Zach.
It's just what I think, I mean, I think there's other companies that have done much better than Naughty Dog themselves, like Rare, for example, who don't exist anymore. They have released more better games than Naughty Dog ever have in the past.
Now it's I totally agree with you, Zach, that they are a little overrated. And I do have some really, really funny things to say about Naughty Dog in the sense that, they released The Last of Us on PS4, and I'm not a big fan of it. Honestly,
I'm actually. You're all gonna think I'm not even a gamer here, but I've never played The Last of Us, and I'm so happy that it's coming to PS4 because I'm gonna pick it up when it comes.
Well, yeah. If you haven't played it, then I would say get on the PS4. But we're gonna definitely jump back into kind of like the Wii U hate, because if you noticed, a lot of people gave Nintendo flack for making Wind Waker HD. A lot of people were just like, they were expecting a new Zelda, and then, they were like, well, we're working on a new Zelda, but we're going to put this out to kind of hold you over. And a lot of people were giving them flack about it. But it's rather funny that the same people that gave Wind Waker flack are praising The Last of Us coming out for the PS4, and the game's like, what, a year old?
Yeah.
Do you think that is to hold you over, or to give the company more budget? Like, for example, Metal Gear Solid. That game is a demo, and what Johnny said from Happy Console Gamer, he said in his video that to fund Konami to make the Metal Gear Solid 5. So I think that's what they were doing with Wind Waker.
You know what? Xander has a very big opinion on that, because Xander, like myself, was talking about Ground Zeroes quite recently, and Johnny was saying that if they were doing it to fund the game, then full agreement. But in terms of the game itself, that has created a rather disturbing trend, because they could end up basically releasing demos and putting them out for the same price as full games. And that's exactly what they've done here with the with this game.
And that's one of the things I'm worried about. I'm worried that that they're going to start releasing games to help budget bigger titles. They're going to start releasing, glorified demos, and that's why I didn't buy Ground Zeroes, and I refuse to buy it. I want to play it. I'm a Metal Gear Solid fan. I've played Metal Gear since the NES days, but I just think that they should have. You know what what they should have done is they should have done like how they did Zone of Enders. You know, when you got Zone of Enders, you had gotten a Metal Gear Solid 2 demo. Why didn't they do something like that with Lords of Shadows 2, a Castlevania? You know, that would have boosted sales for Lord of Shadows 2, and it would have helped put money towards Metal Gear Solid.
That's a very good point, mate.
One of those things where there's no clear-cut answer from this. It's a very big thing. Them doing this is creating a rather disturbing trend, and it's one trend that if they basically by releasing these games we already have on the PS3 as full revised HD editions on the PS4 and Xbox One, it's the same thing that Nintendo's done with Wind Waker, that Nintendo got a lot of flack for, and what it is, I think it's because they're biding time because they know they haven't got enough clear titles yet for these consoles, so they're rehashing old games in order to see how that works for it. I don't think it has anything to do with budget. I just think they're doing it for the point.
And I think
No, you're gone.
No, I was going to say, and I think that's the reason why there's so much of a cut in backwards playability.
Yeah.
I mean, magically, isn't it funny that the PlayStation 3 originally could play PS2 games, then they upped the hard drive, gave it, a bigger storage space, but magically you couldn't play PS2 games anymore. But wow, they started releasing Ico and Shadow of the Colossus HD collections, Okami, the Jak and Daxter series, Sly Cooper. I mean, the list goes on of all these HD remakes. Final Fantasy X. They started doing this, and you're just kind of like, well, if you could still play PS2 games, because let's face it, not all of us are collectors. Not all of us hold on to all of our systems. So they're kind of catering to that crowd, because if they could play PS2 games, an HD remake would almost be pointless, unless you were an extreme diehard and you want to see it in a new shade of light.
No, I agree totally. It's one of those things where it's not being made to cater to the fans, in the sense it's being made as a cash cow. And the reason why they make these moves is to basically see if they'll continue to do it again and again and again. Like the new Tomb Raider game. Johnny was telling me quite recently how he wants to buy that. He's interested in the new Tomb Raider game for the PS4. But for me, as someone who hasn't played it on the Xbox 360 or PS3 as of yet, I don't see the reason why I would want to play that same game as a rehashed version on an Xbox system. If I could get it on the PS3 and Xbox 360, why would I want to get it for those consoles?
Like I said, it's what you want to do. My opinions on HD remakes and stuff like that, they're definitely just my opinions, and I will say there are games I would buy if they made an HD remake. I would buy it just because I would love to see a graphical upgrade, a new imagining of it. I really like the fact that they make if they make HD remakes and they add more to it, that'd be kind of cool. But yeah, I'm just not a big fan of HD remakes.
Yeah, man, same thing. It's like, unless they can give you a sizable discount, like what they did with Assassin's Creed 4, they had one version of the PS4 and one version of the PS3. And for the PS3 version, the PS4 version, no, you would get the PS4 version for £10 extra. So in America, I believe they were doing it the same. You get like $50 extra. You would get the discount, so you wouldn't be paying full price for the PS4 version. I'm up for that. To upgrade the game onto the next-gen system as sort of a download add-on, I'm fine with that. But by asking people to pay full price for the same game you already have on one system, I don't see the reason behind it. There's no reasoning behind it. One reason why I'm looking at getting Wind Waker for the Wii U is because I don't have it on the GameCube. Never have, never will. So I wouldn't mind buying it on the Wii U and see what all the fuss is about. Now, let's move on from there and talk a little bit about PAX East. The Crew, a game that's been generating a lot of buzz lately, has had its PAX East preview, and it's looking slicker than ever. Now, for those who don't know, this was actually announced by Ubisoft at E3. I covered this as part of my E3 retrospective, and it was an amazing, amazing game. You could build cars, modify cars. You're basically playing a heist movie online. So it's like me. I could grab Zach, Xander, and Travis here if we're all on the same console. So, like the PS4, for instance, we could play this game together. They could jump in and out on the heist missions with me, and we could basically beat other crews. Like go after like multiples and stuff like that, and work as our own crew. So it's really well done. The modification of the cars is slick. It looks beautifully made. What do you think of this game, Dan? Do you think it shows promise?
What game was that? Because you were cutting in and out on Skype.
Oh, I do apologize. The Crew.
I mean, I haven't really read too much about The Crew. I mean, I'm not really that big in the racing games, so I'm not.
But the fact this is a heist game sort of tantalizes my taste buds a little bit. If you've seen the preview for E3, it looks really, really slick. What about you, Travis? What do you think of The Crew?
I'm just like Xander. I haven't really heard much about this, and I know you sent us a link here in our Skype chat. I'm just waiting for it to load. Let's see. I don't know. It does look pretty sweet. I will give it that. And like looking at the cars, and I've seen this little thumbnail for this YouTube video. That alone has my interest. What's this game about exactly? Is it just basically is it just a racing game of some kind, or what is it?
It's a heist game. You're basically playing these cars as they're going around stealing money from other crews, basically destroying people's operations, and also like lifting like money trucks and stuff like that.
I see.
Yeah, it looks really, really good. And me, I love it. I think it's going to be something that could be really appealing in terms of gaming in general. So I'm looking forward to it. I want to see how it goes. Looks like they have a great game. I'm not a racing fan myself, but as heist games go, I wouldn't mind giving it a look. Seeing if there's something that may interest me out of it. So let's go from there then and talk about one last thing as we talk a bit more about PAX East. It shows that they're showing a lot more in terms of the Xbox One and also the PS4 in terms of titles that are coming out there. But there's one that they haven't basically hasn't been shown so much yet. I know they're probably showing it there now, but there's been a lot of buzz going around it, and that's The Evil Within. Now, The Evil Within basically brings survival horror back to its roots. This game has been talked about in terms of EGM, Electronic Gaming Monthly, and has also been exhibited as part of the whole PAX East, the whole PAX East situation. It had thousands of people flooding towards this game as they've basically had a hands-on demo available for people to play. Now, who's basically seen the video shots of this, the screenshots of The Evil Within?
I've seen a little bit of it, and just from what I've seen, it made me very excited because I love the survival horror genre, and I'm hoping that, I'm hoping this brings it back. I mean, probably the last survival horror game that I played that had that feeling was probably like Dead Space or Dead Space 2.
Oh
that was probably the last ones I played.
You haven't played Outlaw?
Outlaw?
Outlast?
No, I haven't. I haven't played it. I don't have a PS4 or a good enough PC.
It's the most scariest game ever made. It makes Resident Evil 2 look like a Disney movie.
Yeah, I mean, I want to play Outlast. My PC is horrible, by the way, and so It sucks because I want to play a lot of those great games that are on Steam that are like dirt cheap. I mean, my buddy, he just got a new laptop, and I envy him because he's going to have like 100 Steam games for less than $20. The way they do those humble bundles, but yeah, I've seen gameplay of it. A buddy of mine, she played some of it, and I watched it, and it does look good. But I mean, I'm as a home console, I'm really hoping this next release, I'm hoping it kind of kicks into gear and kind of maybe smacks Capcom in the head, being like, we want a real Resident Evil game. We don't want a Michael Bay game that was Resident Evil 6.
Well, you know what? With Square Enix finally getting into gear, that we're basically looking outside the box and starting to listen to fans in terms of their JRPGs. Hopefully, we're going to be getting a lot more of those. Games that will actually be put together for us by what we're going to do, guys, is a short break, and we're going to be coming back with our retrospective on the Nintendo. It's Nintendo Retrospective Part 2, where we'll be discussing the 3DS and the Wii U. So we'll see you then. Hello, ladies and gents. I hope you enjoyed that. That was our Legend of Zelda commercial there. Now let's go in and talk about basically Nintendo now, because it's kind of amped. We basically did an episode, and I'll tell you what the episode number was, because this was way back. Well, not way back, but it was as part of IGG's inception. We did a Nintendo retrospective, and part of that retrospective we talked about the Nintendo Entertainment System, the N64, we talked about the GameCube, we talked about like a number of topics from there, but we never touched on the new consoles. We kind of rarely touched on them because it wasn't a time when these consoles were being, were actually aptly available. And it was episode 20, believe it or not. So you can check that out on our I Got Gameplay iTunes page if you want to check it out. You can also check it out on Stitcher. You can also check it out on Libsyn, and you can check it out on Blog Talk Radio via our old network. But this episode, we're basically covering part 2. We're going to be talking about our second retrospective, where we're talking about the Wii U and the 3DS. Now let's talk about the 3DS, for instance, because the 3DS came out prior to the Wii U, of course, and the 3DS was an innovation in gaming, because Nintendo love innovation, in a sense. Now, Xander, when you found out that the 3DS was coming out, what did you think of it?
I was very curious, because about the whole 3D. I remember the thing they said, they were like, it's 3D without the glasses, and I was just like, wow, that's really crazy, and bless me.
Bless you.
Whew. So I was trying to hold that back. But no, I was very interested in it, and I didn't get one until a little bit later, and it went by my code. If you want me to get a new console, come out with a Castlevania game. And my buddy actually got a 3DS the day it came out, and I played his, and I remember playing with the AR cards and the little camera and stuff like that, and I was like, I want to get one, but it was kind of a little bit more expensive than I would want to pay for a handheld. But once they mentioned they were coming out with Mirrors of Fate, yeah, I had to go get one.
Yeah, okay. I'm about the same way, because before I got my 3DS, everybody knows that I'm a bit of a cheap bastard. All right, I complained all week because I had to go and replace a part of my bike, which I had to spend like over 100 quid on. I'm not the kind of guy that will spend over 100 quid on anything. So I was a bit annoyed with that. But with the 3DS, I got mine. I waited till I bought mine second hand because I was never going to buy it brand new. Because I know what Nintendo's like. They release a DS, then the next Zelda, then they release another variation of it. And they also release limited edition ones in different styles and stuff. So what I did is I saw it, I wanted one, but I had to wait. And my first experience playing one was actually playing my nephew's one, which had Sonic Colors on it. It was actually quite funny. It's one of those things that you look at and you think to yourself, should I get this thing? Is it going to be any good? What should I do, so to speak? And I bought one. I caved in eventually, and I got one. And the great thing about it is the first game I got with it was Pokemon Y, and it was a great game that I'm still playing. A lot of replay value out of it, and the 3D thing for me, it was just a gimmick. I didn't really care for it, I just liked the fact it had more innovative graphics, better gameplay, and there was a lot of high quality games like Legend of Zelda, Link Between Worlds, which came out a few months after I purchased mine, and also Animal Crossing New Leaf, which I kind of stopped playing. I have to go back to it because I've got a funny feeling all my residents could be pissed off at me. But it's very highly addictive. It took the trend from the DS and the style and graphics, and it just updated them to the point where it's on par with the Wii U in a sense, in terms of graphical interface. Very good console. and it's something I highly, highly enjoy. And being a techie myself, I did like going inside and playing with the bits. Travis, what about you? What did you think of the 3DS?
I love it. I think it's one of the I would say it's like it is definitely one of the greatest handhelds they've ever come out with. I will go out here on this show and say it. I think the 3DS is the best handheld they've ever come out with. I remember getting mine. It was like about a few weeks after it first launched. My then wife, she went to the casino, and she ended up making over $1,000 at the casino. Yeah, and she called. She supposedly had left work early because she wasn't feeling well. When in fact, she just actually went to the casino. I was like, all right, whatever. And then she said that she won.
Does she still work there now?
I don't know because I don't talk to her.
I was saying, if she works there now, you've kind of sold her out. But yeah, go on.
Well, who cares? I don't give a fuck. But anyways, but what happened is she called because I had a day off from work, and she says, I just won $1,000 at the casino. And I was like, I'll be out front. I think we're going to dinner. But we actually drove out to the mall, and we walked past GameStop, and I was like, oh, the 3DS had come out. And she says, what, you want one? I was like, well, I'm kind of thinking about getting one. And next thing you know, walking to GameStop, picked one up, and I bought a copy of Super Street Fighter 4 3D Edition. So like, this might be interesting. Because I actually played it as a demo, and I loved it. I thought it was really fun. So got that, got the game, brought it home, and I was just like, dude, now this is sweet. And, of course, I had other games since then. And I've actually gone through 3 of these 3DSs. The first one I had, she ended up throwing away because she's a cunt. And actually, I had to buy a second one after I moved back home the first time. I'm not going to go through all the whole story. I actually bought a red one when it came out. It was great. Then I had to sell that because after I moved back in with her, she couldn't get a damn job. We needed money, so I had to sell the damn bastard. And then my third 3DS, which is I'm keeping this one no matter what, was a gift for my sister, and it's a 3DS XL.
Yeah, I was thinking an XL myself, because the screen looks so much bigger.
It's 90% bigger, and trust me, it is worth getting. It is fantastic. And I have all these really great games for it. And I'm in love with this thing. I mean, if Nintendo put as much effort that they have with the 3DS into the Wii U, Wii U's be flying off the shelf. That's what I'm thinking. But we'll get to that here in a little bit.
What else is 90% bigger?
If you say you're Wang, I don't want to hear about it.
There you go.
I figured that was coming.
Anyway, going on from that, let's ask. Oh, Zach dropped. Hopefully he'll be back. But we'll continue on and talk a little bit about the Nintendo 3DS. Now, the 3DS in Japan was known as the 3DS Heppo Nintendo Sori de Etsu, abbreviated as 3DS. It's a portable game console produced by Nintendo, and it's capable of projecting stereoscopic 3D. The effects without the use of 3D glasses, of course, and additional accessories. Nintendo announced the device in March 2010, officially unveiled it on E3 2010. Now, on June 15th, 2010, the console succeeds the Nintendo DS, featuring backward compatibility with older Nintendo DS titles and DSi video games, and competes with also the Sony PlayStation Vita, which I'm not even going to go into that fucking train wreck. But still, the handheld offers features such as Street Pass and Spot Pass tag modes. Now, for those people who don't know what the Street Pass and Spot Pass are, is you go past the location. If it's a location that has a Wii U Spot Pass link to it, you can download data from Nintendo, or I could literally walk past someone. Say if I'm walking past Zad or Travis, they will basically download their data onto my 3DS, and I can use it to get like puzzle pieces, or even like update contacts, or to play games as well. Like they have these extra little mini games, very intuitive, works really well. It also has social networking apps as well, such as their Miiverse, Net Browser, Netflix, Hulu Plus, and YouTube streaming video services on it as well. And they used to have the swap note application, but we all know what happened to that, don't we? People
Yeah.
think, we don't need to go into that. All we need to know is that happened, and now we lost that. The Nintendo 3DS was first released in Japan on February 26, 2011, worldwide beginning in March 2011, and less than 6 months later, July 28, 2011, Nintendo announced significant price reduction from $249 to $169 amid disappointing launch sales. The company offered 10 free Nintendo Entertainment System games and 10 free Game Boy Advance games from Nintendo eShops to consumers who bought the system at the original launch price. And this strategy was considered a major success, and the console has gone to become one of Nintendo's most successful sold handheld consoles in the first 2 years of its release. And as of December 31st, 2013, the Nintendo 3DS models and 2DS models combined have sold 42.74 million units. What do you guys think of that? So we'll start with you, Xander. Why do you think it's increased?
I think it's increased just because of the games. It's got so many great games on the 3DS, and not even talking about, retail games that you can go and buy, but the games on the eShop. One of my favorite games on the eShop was Gunman Clive. It's a side-scrolling cowboy game that's got a really interesting art style, and it's almost like a Mega Man game, or like Contra or something like that. It's got all the right things and does all the right things that people really, really enjoy. And I agree with Travis when he said that it's one of the best handhelds of all time, especially for Nintendo, and I really agree with that.
Yeah, and the thing is, I think what significantly makes it more one of their best handhelds is it's more user integrated. In a sense, you get more in terms of content than you did with the actual DS itself. It's more user integrated. I can interact with you guys a lot more. And plus, you can also share in terms of your 3DS codes. So for instance, if I'm playing Pokemon and Xander's got a Pokemon that I want, so I've recently downloaded Porygon, so a friend gave me Porygon, I can have people trade that with me by breeding it and then going to one of my friends and asking them if they want it or not. It's a great little system. It works really well. And it also limits the amount of people who can actually see your profile, because you can't get some random person adding you on. You have to literally ask someone if they want to be your friend by adding their friend code, and they have to add your friend code in order for the two of you to actually talk to one another. So let's talk about the difference in that. Xander, what do you think about the whole friend code thing?
I don't like the friend code. I'm so glad that the Wii U doesn't. I'm so glad the Wii U didn't do the friend code like the Wii and the 3DS, and even the DS had friend codes. It's confusing. I'm not going to lie, it's kind of hindered me from adding other people just because I get so lazy about it. I wish I could just put their name in and just add them, but instead I have to add them, and then I have to send them my code, then they have to send them, the codes have to switch back and forth. It's, I don't know. That's the only thing I don't like about the 3DS. I hate friend codes.
Okay, what about yourself, Zach? By the way, Xander, you still haven't added me.
I know. That's why I added that. I'm lazy with it, man. I haven't played my 3DS in a very long time.
Well, quit playing with yourself and start playing with your 3DS.
It's great for playing on the pooper, dude.
Exactly. You need to get on the pooper more. That's what you need to do.
Well, see, I go on the pooper with my Wii U pad.
I can't do that. There's no significant range. I can't do that.
I can't do it either.
That's why I always say that people that complain about the Wii U pad are like, oh, it sucks. I'm like, well, obviously you can't go all the way to the bathroom with it because...
I can't. But the thing is, I've actually said this. If Nintendo had an extender, if it sold an extender that would allow me enough range to play mine on the pooper, then I'd be happy. I wouldn't complain.
I mean, imagine playing like... Okay, you're playing Mario 3D World, okay, and you're sitting there and you're trying to beat this level. Oh, all of a sudden nature calls. You can pause it, and you can keep playing, and you can just relax till your feet fall asleep.
Yeah, I've done that a lot. I was playing Pokemon today, and my foot fell asleep, and I'm trying to get blood flow back in my leg while I'm trying to beat the Elite Floor. It was painful, a painful experience.
Sounds kind of shitty.
It was very shitty. I had like 2 packets of Doritos before I went to the toilet because today's my fat day. So I was like, yes, I can eat fatty food. So I had some Doritos and then I had pizza. So I enjoyed myself today to the point where I filled myself up so much and then started. I've been on a kick recently, guys, where I can't stop breeding Pokemon. I'm playing Pokemon Y. I've beaten Pokemon Y, the main game, and there's tons of replay value in this. You have to get the Mega Stones. You've got to, after you beat the Elite Four, you've got to basically raise your Pokemon to be perfect competition Pokemon by raising their ILVs. You know, which most people don't know. The Pokemon ILVs are sort of like stats that these things have, and you need to get the perfect stats that equal to 35. In order to do that, that means all their abilities are actually strengthened, and you can do loads of other things like play with them and nurture them and feed them to make them more better fighters, to use certain techniques. It's a pain in the ass, but there's so much to do in this game. And that's the one thing that I do love about these 3DS games are there's tons of replay value. I don't mind spending £30 to £40 on a 3DS game that has this much replay value. For me, replay value means a lot, you know. If I can play the same game like 2 years down the line and still not get bored of it, then you're doing something right, you know. So I want to do that with the Wii U. I've been playing Mario 3D World with my nephew and my nieces and everybody, and my daughters and sons. And the problem is, I basically can't take that thing into the shitter. You know, I can't take the pad with me. The signal keeps cutting out. I feel really upset about it, you know. So I'm gonna do something about that. I want to see if we can get an extender. If not, I'm gonna build my own, damn it, and I'm gonna make sure that frickin' pad goes to the toilet with me so I can play on the pooper. That's what I need. I need to play on the pooper.
What video game magazines for? Nintendo Power, when it used to be published. I'll buy video game magazines for that. I don't use my gamepad while I'm shitting. That's just weird.
That's not weird. That's awesome, man.
Well, no, because it's unhygienic. I mean,
it's not unhygienic.
I clean them every week. I clean and dust them out to make sure they're in immaculate condition. I'm not going to take it and then have shit stains on it and everything.
Dude, are you wiping your ass with your hand and then putting it on the pad? Of course it's unhygienic. You've got basically. I can't believe I'm explaining this to people, but for those of you out there who do wipe your ass with your tablets and your handheld games, this is what you do. You put the console down, you go into the toilet, you lock the door. Now, I have a sink by the toilet, so I just pop it on the sink, pull my trousers down, take the console with me, sit my ass on the toilet.
I actually need to piss as well. I mean, your dick will be like pissing on your gamepad, isn't it? You have to
then sit pissing down then.
Raise the gamepad above the level where your crotch is. Don't put it on your lap while you're taking a shit. I think this is where the problem lies. For those of you who do this, now this is how you do it, right? Now you're playing the game, you're taking a shit, you're playing the game. And it leaves you time so you can take that shit and you're continuously playing the game to the point where you go, okay, I'm done with this game now. What am I going to do next? Oh, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to go and basically take the pad now, and I'm going to put the pad onto the floor for a second. Make sure you're not dropping on it. You get up, you wipe your ass, you pull your trousers up, and you leave the pad there. Go to the sink, wash your hands, wipe with soap.
You get up and wipe your ass while you're standing up. That ain't human. Now, you have to sit down and wipe your ass. I don't know how you guys wipe your ass. Jesus Christ.
I wipe my ass standing up, so what?
And this has been How to Game in the Potty with your instructor, Michael Burhan.
Yeah, as people know, I am a poop gamer. I like toilet gaming. Right, every time I take a shit... Gamer. Yeah, every time I take a shit, I've got my 3DS with me. I'm fucking proud of that. Right? I clean my 3DS.
2 gamepads, 1 cup.
Oh no!
I play my fucking gamepad. I play my 3DS regularly on the pooper. But saying that, I've got sanitizer and I've got freaking stuff to wash my my 3DS, like to clean the screen and stuff. So I'm fine. I'm pretty sanitary. Anybody else that wipes their ass with their 3DS, that's your own fucking problem. If you've got shit stains on your 3DS, then obviously you don't know how to control yourself. You know, I'm just saying. And you don't know how to clean yourself. I wouldn't trust you around my food, let alone my game consoles. So there you go, peeps. This is Pooping 101 with Michael Burhan.
I was going to say, if Nintendo would come up with some sort of a patch that would increase the signal from the from between the system and the gamepad, I probably could play some Wii U games in the shitter. I mean, I would totally like to play like Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze while taking a big old tropical dump in the bathroom.
I would. There'll be no.
I'd love to do that.
People would
I'd love to play a scary game by shitting like Outlast. In that way, you're scared and you just shit your whole intestines out. If it's a scary game, you don't go, oh shit! It'll come out completely.
Survival.
I love
at its best. Survival horror on the pooper.
You know, that just reminded me of something. That's something that Microsoft and Sony does not really fully understand. And what Nintendo does is there are people who love their games so much they don't want to put it down, especially when they've had like a couple Mexican bean dips and washed all down with a gallon of gin, and they have to spend time in the bathroom. Nintendo is there for you because you can play their games while taking a shit.
There you go, and that's exactly it. So let's continue this now. So the 3DS basically has sold 42.74 million units. A larger model of the console that was released was the 3DS XL, which is the one that Xander has and Travis has. And basically it sold worldwide in the beginning of August 2012, and it features screens that are 90% larger than the original 3DS. An entry-level version of the console called the Nintendo 2DS was released in North America, Europe, and Australia in October 12, 2013. Will still play the 3DS and DS games. It removes the ultrascopic 3D functionality and changes the form factor to the fixed slate design. Now, the 2DS, I'm happy about this console. I don't know most people are. The 3DS function is really bad for children's eyes. For developing kids' eyes, it's really bad. They shouldn't have this console, you know.
The 3DS function, I bet if I ask everyone this question, who uses the 3D, no one does. They always turn it off. But the 2DS is great.
Yeah, I have to say, like, I've noticed with the 3DS, like, Nintendo first-party games, the 3D is really, really good, but when you play some of the third-party games on the 3DS, it's kind of overwhelming. And I know some people that play with their 3DS with the 3D turned halfway. I can't even do that. It starts giving me a migraine. So what I do is, like, when I get a game, I'll turn the 3D and see what it looks like, and I'll quickly turn it back down.
I'm the same way. I don't like the way that the 3D works for my eyes. Some games I will play the 3D, I'll give it a try, but I'm not my daughter was playing my 3DS recently, and my nephew and her were turning the 3D on. So what I did was I opened it up and disabled the 3D inside. So I literally just took the Switch out to stop them from doing it. They were annoyed, but at the same level, I was like, I don't want you playing with that, and I've told you not to play with the 3D function. You do it again, you're not playing with the console. You know, it's just one of those things that I'm scared for my daughter's eyesight. I don't want to be the guy who has to go and buy her glasses because she's been staring at that bloody 3D thing. You know, it's not the best way. And for kids, the 2DS, I think, is a lot better as well, because they also play about with the screen. Now, if you can hear my 3DS, it clicks. They all do this all the time. And it'll get to the point where they'll wear down the hinges, and you'll need to replace them yourself, or the screen's just going to get floppy. Floppy, like my knob. So we have to... Penis. So we have to find a way around that, and it's really annoying. So what I did, I think the 2DS is something awesome. My nephew has one, and I'm actually going to be buying one for my daughters for their Christmas present, but no one told them because they don't listen to the show for obvious reasons. But, you know, they are awesome kids, and I think they should experience what I'm experiencing, but I'm not going to allow them to experience the 3D function, so it's good for kids. So what do you think about the 2DS?
It's great to hold the door.
Yeah, what about you, Travis?
I'm sorry, what was the question again?
The 2DS, what do you think about it?
Pretty odd. And it was around the time, I think, when Nintendo started, I think it's the same time they kind of announced that they weren't going to put a lot of emphasis on 3D in their games, like some of the early 3DS games implemented. It's kind kind of strange for us who have a 3DS, but it's actually kind of smart because this was they're trying to sell this to little kids who can experience 3DS games, and that way their parents will make sure their eyes don't get all screwed up if the 3D is turned on, because there's no 3D in the system whatsoever, hence the name 2DS. I don't know, I think that's kind of an interesting move on Nintendo's part, but it definitely paid off.
What about you, Xander? Do you think cost-effectively it's a great idea, and for kids it's a great idea, or do you think the 2DS itself just looks ugly?
I thought it was, honestly, when I first saw it, I thought it was an April Fool's joke, or
like the one.
yeah, I thought it was just they were doing something funny, but no, I think it was smart for Nintendo. Once the shock wore off, I thought it was something smart for them to do because it does cater more to the younger kids, and it doesn't have the door, the flaps to it either, so that makes it a little easier. And it's kind of like one unit, kind of like how the Game Boys were. And all of us know those Game Boys. I mean, those screens could take a beating.
Yeah.
So I mean, it was made durable for children. It was a little cheaper. It's pretty much like the kid-friendly, economy-based 3DS. I mean, I thought it was really cool.
So, moving on from that, guys, let's ask Zach here. Zach, have you played with the 3DS? Do you have a 3DS and 2DS?
Oh yeah, I have a 3DS, and it's just like the gaming console, the handheld to have. It's just the Nintendo have always been the king of handhelds. I mean, come on, they've always done the better ones, the Game Boy. They're the creators of the handheld, and they've always been great with it, and the 3DS is just phenomenal. I mean, I don't know about you, but when Luigi's Mansion 2 came out, nostalgia just came pouring out of my head, I was thinking, I had Luigi's Mansion on GameCube, that was like one of my favourite games, and to play it on the 3DS is just so good.
I haven't bought that game as of yet. I am going to buy it, because
That game should have been released on the Wii U. That was another opportunity that they shouldn't have put that on the 3DS.
Well, apparently their whole meaning of putting it on the 3DS was because the game originally, the GameCube was going to have its own 3D function. But the reason they didn't implement it was too cost effective. It would have cost them the earth just to put out this extra expansion for the GameCube. Then they just went, and did a full 360 on it, or a 180, should I say, turn on it and decided against it. So going on from that, guys, let's talk a little bit more about the 2DS itself. The 2DS has been a very hot seller as well. Now, it has more of a fixed form cell design. And let's talk a little bit about the games. What's your favourite game so far on the 3DS? Slash 2DS. But yeah, what's your favourite game on those consoles? Let's start with you, Travis. What's your favourite game that you like to play?
See, for a 3DS, I'd have to say, excuse me, that's a tough question because I just got into Yoshi's New Island, and that game's really awesome. But of all of them, I have to say Star Fox 64 3D. Cool.
Why is that?
Well, because I was reliving one of the coolest Nintendo 64 games ever made, and also I'm a hardcore Star Fox fanatic, and it actually uses everything the 3DS can muster to create such a wonderful experience. You actually do feel like you are in space and all these other worlds blasting away. It is beautifully crafted game that Nintendo put onto that system.
What about you, Xander?
Man, to choose just like one 3DS game I really like, that's really hard because honestly, I don't have a whole lot of 3DS games. I'm actually looking at my collection right now. I have like 10 or 11 3DS games.
More than me, I have 3.
But all the ones I have are really, really good. Like, I haven't bought one 3DS game yet that I've been like, you know what, this game's not that great. I mean, you had like Luigi's Mansion 2, Bravely Default, New Super Mario Brothers 2, the golden coin game, gosh, man, there's so many great games. Pokemon, Animal Crossing. I mean, the list goes on. It's just, honestly, out of all the systems in the last couple of years, I can honestly say I've played the 3DS more than anything else.
Okay, so we've got on that one. Mine, I have to admit, it has to be Pokemon. I'm enjoying the hell out of this game. One of the reasons I put it down was because I had too much work to do, and I was like, I'm going to get my work done and not pick it up. And I picked it up and then started playing the game. And the last 3 days have been like murder because I've just been breeding Pokemon. That's what I've been doing, breeding. But now I'm actually sitting here talking on Nintendo Retrospective and still have the 3DS in my hand. I've been literally all day playing with this thing, and it's procrastination at its best. So going on from that now, let's go back to the next one, the next console that we can actually play, and that is the Wii U. Now, the Wii U has been the scorn of a lot of gamers quite recently, and as Zach so aptly pointed out, probably from those who haven't played the console. Now, the Wii U was first introduced at E3, it was E3 2012, wasn't it, Xander? I believe.
Yeah, it was 2012.
Yeah, and it had this whole new cool feature of this tablet. Now, when I first looked at this commercial, you're thinking that it's a tablet expansion for the normal Wii. It didn't look like a secondary console, sort of like an update from the Wii itself. Now, let's ask you, Zach, what did you think when you first saw that commercial?
Zach's here. I got so confused for a second there.
Yeah, Zach, go for it.
When I saw that, I was like, whoa, they just brought out this new controller for the Wii, but then I thought it was a new console. I was like, oh my god, it's a new console. Whoa. But when the Wii U came out, I was disappointed to see that golf game, all what they showed you in that trailer, didn't even exist. Like, that golf game, that shooting game, the ninja game that was on Nintendo Land, but there was like, I don't know if you remember seeing the sports games, and that hasn't even been coming out on the Wii U yet. And when the Wii U came out, they had loads of features that wasn't already available, like Nintendo TV. That we haven't even got that. I think USA have that one. Down in Europe, we don't even have Nintendo TV. Do we have Nintendo TV?
No, we don't. It's a function that's actually been taken out of the European one, which I'm not very happy about.
Well, it's coming in 2014, I read it.
No, it still hasn't been. They're saying it may do, but there's no clear certification for it as of yet. So what about you, Xander? What did you think?
When I first heard about the Wii U, I had such mixed feelings about it. I was really not sure about it. I actually had just gotten a Wii. That's how far behind I was with Nintendo. And, I didn't know. It wasn't until I joined a couple of Facebook group pages and I started, hearing people's views on the Wii U, and it wasn't until they came out with Super Mario 3D World that I was just like, all right, I have to get a Wii U. And plus my Wii started crapping out. It started sounding like a weed whacker. So I'm like, I want to get a new system that's, backwards compatible, and I can play some games I really want to play. So I love the Wii U. I think the Wii U pad, I think it's very comfortable, honestly.
Especially on the toilet.
Oh yeah.
So, what about you, Travis? What was your experience with the commercial? What did you think about it? Did you think that they were releasing a new console, or did you think, what the hell is this thing? Is this a new extension for the Wii?
I paid very close attention to everything that was related to this, the build up to the reveal of the Wii U. I mean, I remember when I was watching, I think it was E3 2011, I think it was, is when Nintendo announced, like towards the end of their press conference, the Wii U, and they just brought out the controller. I thought, okay, great, it's a controller. Where's the system? I mean, I knew right then there was like Wii U, it was going to be their new system. I just got it right then and there. But it's like, you're showing off this controller. I like to see what the system kind of looks like. I'm a little curious. Then they really didn't talk a whole much about that until the following E3. They're really touting it and everything. And I remember the commercials. When the system finally did launch, I really wanted the system, but I thought the commercials were just kind of bizarre. if for those of you who don't remember these commercials who are listening to the show, there was just like all these different multicolored rooms. It was like little apartments, if you will, showing off all these people playing the Wii U, playing different games, or playing different types of features.
They kind of lied to us as well, because they had the person take the tablet and leave the room.
Hey, it's time to play some baseball.
Yeah, you can't do that.
yeah, and that was kind of silly. Like, I remember when they officially unveiled it, and they had a trailer for it, and guys walk into the room, and his buddy is playing Super Mario Brothers on there it's on the TV, and says, "Hey, can I watch a game?" "Yeah, sure, man, go ahead." And he picks up a controller and walks off and plays the game on the controller. I thought, okay, well, that's kind of cool. You could do something like that, but then I noticed that all the games do that.
Yeah.
I was like, that's Nintendo. You are touting this new system that you said that not only can you play the games off the TV but on this controller, but also have it be like a secondary screen for some of these games are going to be coming out. But when in reality, a good majority of the games are just ones you can just play off the TV as no big whoop.
You know the best game that actually utilizes that properly? Do you know Super Mario 3D World?
Right.
They've got these little mini games with the Toad, and you can actually use the Wii pad to go overhead, to look left, to look right, and you can only do it on the tablet itself. So you have to check the tablet. You've got to basically make sure that you're looking right in the tablet when you're doing it, which is it's fun. You know, it's a great way of doing it. But I think a lot of games just have the tablet accessibility where you can actually either have it on the tablet or have it on the TV or have it on both.
And you know what? And you know what else is really funny is a lot of people complain about the Wii Pad. They're like, I've heard so many people say that, what would really help the Wii U is if they dropped the Wii Pad and they just didn't sell it and blah, blah, blah. And the thing is, the Wii Pad is a very important part of the Wii, but at the same time, if you guys notice, you don't have to play games with the Wii Pad.
Yeah.
No, you don't.
I mean, you can use a Wii mode. Most of the games I actually have for the Wii U, you can use a Wii Pad.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's one of those things where it's not such a big issue, but people are targeting it as the issue. The Wii Pad is not like the Xbox Kinect. It's not a fucking eyesore. It's not watching you masturbate. It's actually a cool little device that works in part with the system itself. Now, Zach, what about your dealings with the Wii Pad? Do you think it complements the system, or do you think it's just a bit of a shitty little thing that's not needed?
Well, I just think it reminds me of a Game Gear, to be honest, and I think it's a bit bulky, and I think it's a bit cheaply made. And the reason, apparently, when you have a Pro controller to chat online, you need to plug the headset into the gamepad, and that's the only way to chat. There's no port in the Pro controller. I think it's a downfall. But basically, the Wii U. What does Wii U stand for? The U stands for update, right? So
No,
Wii U update.
The U stands for you, as in you.
Yeah, some say Wii U update. You think it's that? I think it's update because that's what it is.
No, when they announced it, he actually said you had Mr. Reggie Holmes actually said, or is it Helms or Holmes, whatever the fuck his name is.
I thought it was Reggie
Hames. Reggie, fucking whatever.
Reggie.
All right, yeah, so it means you, okay.
Yeah, he goes. It's basically Wii U, as in for you and me. Yeah, that's what.
That is so corny.
Yeah, but it's
slogan.
it's a silly slogan. It was one of those.
Xbox One, all in one. Xbox One. It's just like before they used to be creative. Now it's just.
Yeah, it's like Xbox One is basically all in one. But at the same level, everyone was like, wasn't the Xbox actually the Xbox One? We don't get that. Just like ladies and gentlemen, we have 14 minutes left in terms of showtime. So we're going to be basically going to our archive. Once we do that, you can still basically listen in once the show's finished to listen to the entire show, including the archive. I will be uploading the show onto Libsyn, iTunes, and also onto Stitcher, so you can listen to it there as well. So so no fears. I'm going to try and make sure it's all updated after the show's off air. So just keep listening in now. We're going to be continuing to talk about the Wii U and why we feel that the console itself, what it needs in terms of what the system needs and what the best things about the system as well, talking about our top 10 things we like about the Wii U. So we're continuing that. So as I said, we've got 14 minutes left on the live show and we'll be going over to the archive. So that's another thing as well. When the console was first being announced, they said that it was going to have a more sort of online presence in comparison to the Wii. Do you feel that the console actually has that? So we'll start with you, Sam. Do you think it has that online presence that Nintendo have promised?
It's definitely got a lot more than online's been with Nintendo to begin with. I mean, I really want them to push it a little bit more. I think that if they pushed a little bit more, I think it would be a great online experience. I mean, me and you, Burhan, we've used the Wii Pad to talk to each other instead of using Skype, and it's got a good camera on it, and
clear as day as well, especially with my connection. You know, with Skype it takes a lot of bandwidth. That controller doesn't. Yeah,
it was great, and you know, the online games, when you can play games online, they're a lot of fun, and you know, one of my friends, Amanda, we played the Wii U together, and we'll afterwards we'll draw pictures, and I like the whole atmosphere to community base where everyone's gathered in little circles and you can kind of converse within each other with the Wiiverse.
Yeah.
I think it's really cool. I think if they were to add a little bit more to it and advertise it a little bit more, because it is free, I think people would definitely really jump on it.
And you know what? And I wouldn't mind paying a little bit extra for an online facility that actually works. You know, at the moment with Nintendo's downloads for the system, if you download them onto the system itself, it becomes part of that system. So you basically, for my Wii U, if I sell it on, all the games I've downloaded will still be on that system and anybody can play it. And the great thing is it's accessible. It's not like Microsoft's Xbox Live facility or PSN Plus where you download games and they're stuck onto an account, and once you go offline, you can't play them anymore. You can on the Wii U. And that's one of the great things about that console. But in terms of online presence, I felt that the console itself doesn't have that much of an online gaming presence. It does have an online presence, but it doesn't have an online gaming presence. Now, Travis, what about you? What do you think of that?
Well, it just really depends on the games that it comes out for the system. I know that a lot of people who are going to buy the new Batman game that came out some time ago,
and Arkham Origins.
Yeah, and it was pretty upsetting that they removed the online aspects of that game. And but what Warner Brothers actually did is, because of that, I think they made the game like $10 cheaper for the Wii U as opposed to the game coming out on the PS3, Xbox 360, and PC, which was full price. I still don't
agree with that as well, though, because what you're doing is you're putting people to the other one that's more appealing. You know, if you've got it on the PS3, Xbox 360, and they have this function that you don't have on the Wii U, would you buy the Wii U version? No, there's no incentive.
Yeah, but I think that with like some games coming up here, like for instance Mario Kart 8, I'm just throwing that out there. They are really throwing online gaming into that one where you can actually play the game online. And that's the same thing they did with Mario Kart Wii. And then when Super Smash Brothers comes out towards the end of this year, Nintendo actually went on to say, and I think they mentioned this in the Nintendo Direct, how they're going to really, it's going to be very online friendly because there's like two different groups you can play with.
Can you play concurrently with your 3DS brethren? Can you play online with them? So for instance, I've got my 3DS and Xander's on the Wii U. Can I actually play my 3DS version with his Nintendo Wii U version?
Well, I don't know yet because they haven't really said exactly what they're going to be doing, which is going to make both the games work with each other. I would like to see that happen, but it's hard to say at this time.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
I'm hoping as well. Yeah. I'm hoping to see what they do with that. So, what about you, Zach? Well, what do you think of the online functionality of the Wii U as it stands? Do you think it's good, it's bad, can it compete with the other consoles? Or do you think they just don't have a proper online presence?
I think they've got a very good online presence. When you turn on that console and you see tons of people doing great drawings of Zelda, and it's a good way to communicate. That is great. It's called Miiverse, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. I think that's a great way, and I think it's online in a way that the way Nintendo want it to be online. They're not trying to be like everyone else. It's online the Nintendo way. And I think because of that, for example, there's games that's come out that include all like the DLC packs. Really, there's not going to be as much DLC on Wii U than there is, and that's a good thing. So it's going to it's going to make less DLC. So that means when the Wii U version comes, all the DLC will be already included. Like Watch Dogs, they're saying that they was going to cancel the Wii U version, but in fact maybe they're just waiting for all the DLC to come out on it. So it's like the Need for Speed Most Wanted. They included, on the Wii U version, they included more cars and everything. It's a more complete version. So with a Wii U game, you get the more complete version than on a PS3 game.
Well, saying that, Injustice Gods Among Us in the Wii U version, you still have to download the DLC on there.
Yeah, but it's less DLC in a way. I'm not saying it completely kills it off, but it will eventually. It's a good way. There's going to be less DLC on it. It's going to be like the original Xbox One. You're not going to get a lot of DLC on it.
Okay. So going on from there, as we said, the online capability of the system, it's got a good online presence, but in terms of online gaming presence, it doesn't have much. Now, for me, like, for instance, when I was playing Sonic Races with Xander, I had to literally go through a whole hoopla just to find him. It was ridiculous. There was no quick and easy access to each other. We wanted just to play a game together. There's games like Nintendo Land, for instance, that left me scratching my head why it was just local play, why I couldn't play online with friends. Imagine playing Nintendo Land with Xander. That would have been awesome. You know, I would have loved to play you on Mario Chase.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Cool.
That
would have been awesome.
It would have been a great way to show off the console's online presence, especially if it was a free presence. There should be a way to integrate that and Miiverse together where you could just play with your friends online. Now, that's one of the things that the console doesn't have, and it leaves me scratching my head thinking why Nintendo hasn't given that a chance. But, you know...
Safety reasons. Parental control.
Well, at the end of the day, parental controls can be administered by the parents. I've got parental controls on my Xbox 360. I've got it on my PS3. There's ways that my kids can't access certain systems without me, like, allowing them to. So I think that's a bit of a hoo-ha, you know, saying, oh, that they can't access because of X, Y,
Yeah, but if you look at what we've seen in the recent few months, like the disgusting case what Alpha Omega Sin mentioned with that boy watching a porn video on...
Yeah, but that was his dad's fault. The guy left the controls off.
But you wouldn't get that with Nintendo. It's like, for example, when someone had porn on the DS and they bought one, that was a shock because that never happened to Nintendo. They're strict with that. When the game Conker's Bad Fur was released, they went mental because they're not used to them kind of games. Nintendo's really friendly.
No, I disagree. What about No More Heroes? No More Heroes made its name on the Wii. House of the Dead Overkill made their name on the Wii. You've just got to monitor that shit. That's not down to the game company. That's down to parents. You know, in terms of parental control, Nintendo shouldn't feel that they have to basically monitor this shit. It needs to be monitored by parents. And if you're not a good parent, you're going to buy your kid GTA. You're going to buy your kid Call of Duty and Titanfall because you don't give a fuck. Right? And you're going to let them do whatever the fuck they want. But that's because you're not a good parent.
Well, my parents bought me Grand Theft Auto when I was 5 years old. I found out alright, you know.
Yeah, they obviously didn't look at the game.
They did. They looked at. I remember that day as if it was yesterday. I was about 5 years old. Walked in my local game shop and I was like, "Oh, that game's 18. You're not allowed to have that, mate." And my parents looked at me and said, "Oh, that game's 18." I was like, "Please, I really want this game. I really want it." They just let me have it. I was spoiled, but they're not bad parents. I'm not a madman. You know.
But again, it's basically down to what they want to do, you know?
When it all comes down to it, Nintendo should be focused on being a gaming company and not a police force.
Yes.
When it all comes down to it.
But I agree with Xander on that one. it doesn't make sense. And in terms of some of the core titles that made the Wii a success, you can look at games like No More Heroes, and they put Suda51 and Nintendo's partnership on the map so much that Sony plagiarized the whole controller so they could get these games on the PlayStation with the PlayStation Move. Yeah, it doesn't make sense to me. Now, going from that, let's go on to the pad itself. Now, Zach, you were saying about the fact that the pad is cheaply made.
It is. When I heard someone saying that it's cheaply made, I took a look at it. It feels light. The buttons feel wobbly. It doesn't feel quality Nintendo. It feels like it's made in China, which is probably made in Vietnam. How do I know? Well, there's that, and the fact that when you're on the Pro controller to talk online, you need to have that plugged in, and you ain't got the battery life as well is another problem. 5 hours is not even a lot. That's not a lot at all, and I think that's the downfall. And I think they should have at least 10 hours battery life, because it's ridiculous. You have to keep plugging it in every 5 seconds to play with it. It's not.
No, I agree totally. Zana, what do you think of the tablet itself? What do you think its limitations are? Do you think the battery life is a big limitation on the pad?
Oh, absolutely. The battery life is probably my biggest gripe. But other than that, though, I mean, I don't think it's a bad controller. I mean, I've played it with a lot worse. I mean, look at controllers like the Jaguar or stuff like that. I mean, they've had some bad controllers over the years, and 200. Yeah.
Phone.
Yeah, I mean they've made some really bad controllers, and I don't think it's that bad. It was funny because I thought it would be as big as it was. I thought it'd be kind of uncomfortable, but it actually is pretty comfortable when you hold it. It takes some getting used to, but I mean it's about as comfortable as playing a Wii. It's like a lot of people. It's funny because I talk to a lot of people that they talk about the Wii and they're like, I don't like the Wii. It's so gimmicky. I don't like to get up and do that. I'm like, dude, you don't have to get up. You don't have to get up and frail around like you see on the commercials. I've sat on my happy ass and played Twilight Princess. Shoot, I've played Wii bowling sitting down before. I mean, it's not that big of a deal.
I've done that too. So
I mean, yeah. I mean, some of the people, they just take it too serious, but I think it's a good controller. The only thing that I hated. Sorry. The only thing I hated about it was I was so scared about that touch screen getting scratched. So I got an actual little cover that I put my Wii Pad on that covers the screen. So
yeah, so there you go. On Xander's perspective as well, the battery, they have rectified it, but you'd have to actually buy the new battery yourself and fit it into the controller, which is something I'm a bit annoyed about. Travis, what about you?
I will admit that was what kind of sold me at first about getting the Wii U. I thought, oh, that's kind of cool though. Don't know how many other video game consoles had anything kind of remotely close to this in the past, apart from the Dreamcast with the VMUs and the controllers. But at the same time, I mean, I'm like Xander. I thought the battery life it's pretty ridiculous. You only get like 5 hours out of it, and that's if you have like a low screen setting on it, the brightness.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's what kind of makes that it irritates me, because if you're really into, like, you're playing Super Mario 3D World and you're really into the game, and then you look down below and you see the red light is on, that the battery was low, and I was like, oh shit. So I have to pause the game, put the thing on the dock, let it charge, or I could just simply unplug it from the back of the dock and put it in the controller. But it's like, that's a bit even more of a hassle, I think. Maybe I'm just lazy, who knows. But I mean, it's a nice little controller, don't get me wrong. It's what sold the system. I just think it would have been a little bit more, it would have made a bit more sense if they would have just had it as just a regular controller, kind of like the Wii U Pro controller that I bought today, woohoo. And I think that would have been pretty fine. And the cost of the system would have been down significantly, I think.
Yep, no, I agree with you on that one. And the thing is, as I said about the tablet itself, it's a very good idea, but Nintendo have done less than what they've promised in a sense.
Oh, yeah.
They haven't pushed the system in a way that they should do, and they haven't pushed the controller in the specification that they haven't done. So, you know, it annoys me in a sense, but there's a lot more they can do with it, and hopefully they will, you know, they will basically resolve it. So let's go on from that now, and let's talk about the titles, the core titles of this console. So Xander, tell us a little bit about the core titles that you like to play, the games that you feel make this console what it is.
Well, I mean, without a doubt, Super Mario 3D World, that's such a hot app for that game. I mean, if you get a Wii U, that's a game you have to have for it. And for the longest time, you know, that was the game to play for a couple months. Because, I mean, like, Xbox One didn't have anything like that. PS4 didn't have anything like that. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, it's just a Mario title. But, I mean, if you grew up playing Mario, it's such a love letter to you. I mean, it plays so well. And also, I mean, Sonic Transformed Racing, that's such a good game. And I really enjoyed that. Wonderful 1-on-1. It's awesome. And I also really like playing the Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze.
Yep. Again, these are sort of like, as Zan's put it out there, they're love letters to older core titles that Nintendo have actually put together. And, you know, when people sit there and go, oh, but it's Nintendo games, you know, I've listened to people say, how many times are we going to see a Mario game? Or how many times are we going to see a Zelda game? You know what? I'll tell you how many times. We're going to see it a lot. Because, you know, it's one of those things that you have to enjoy. And to put it out there, it makes me laugh when someone goes, oh, another Mario game. Like, I get hours of fun out of Mario 3D World. Hours of fun.
You know, I hate to cut you off, but I actually really laugh that people are like, oh, it's another Mario game. But these are the same people that buy the newest Call of Duty or a new Assassin's Creed, or better yet, or pretty soon the next Batman Arkham game that comes out every freaking year. I mean, these people are so hypocritical when they try to put down Nintendo. I mean, we haven't had a new Zelda game yet, but I know once the new Zelda game comes out, like the actual Zelda game, not the spin-off, but actual new Zelda game on the Wii U, those people are going to be the same ones about, oh, it's just another Zelda game.
Yeah, exactly. And you look at that and you think to yourself, it's kind of contradictory in a sense, because it doesn't. You've got to see that all these movies, all these games, and all these franchises that you purchase are for the franchise itself. And for me, Mario 3D World is one of my favorites, and reason being, it pays homage to every single Mario game ever made. You don't believe me? Go on the freaking game and have a look. And it's amazing. The only complaint my daughters have is the fact they can't play like two princesses. But, that has resolved once you've completed the game. Because you can play Rosalina. And then they won't stop complaining that they can't play women. But, you have that as well. And with that, another game of mine that I love to play, Tank. Who doesn't go after these monstrous mechanical monsters like the gorillas and everything like that? You can even play like a freaking ape. You could like take a photo of your face, put it on an ape, and go stomping the city. If you played the Tank arcade game, this is a perfect arcade version of this game. It's amazing by Namco Bandai. A few other games I've got. New Super Mario Bros. U, of course, which is what Xander alluded to. Great game to play. If you like the Wii version, you're going to love the Wii U version, and Luigi U as well. DuckTales Remastered. There's tons of games, even like the retro games like Earthbound. I finally got a copy of that I'm playing, I've got it on Virtual Console for like £3. Bloody awesome. So what about you, Travis? What are the games that you like to play?
Oh, well, yeah, of course, you got New Super Mario Brothers U, and then New Super Luigi U, which is, I will admit, it's fun, but I really don't like the way Luigi controls. I love the fact that he can jump and then really high and he flutters his legs, but I hate that when you go to turn, like you're running, but you have to do a quick turn, he slides. And that goes back to the original Super Mario Brothers 2, the one that came out in Japan, that is. But apart from that, I also like Mario 3D World, which is awesome. And I really love when Lego City Undercover. Yeah. Oh man, I love that game so much. It would have been better if that was a 2-player game, but it's only one player.
I haven't played that at all.
You gotta check it out. It's really good. If you like these other Lego games, you'd really like this one. I mean, this is a Nintendo exclusive, and Travis Tales took a lot of great care into this game. It's a lot of fun. You'd love it. And speaking of which, I've also got the Lego Movie video game, which is pretty cool. Well, of course, I love playing Donkey Kong Country, Tropical Freeze, and I know I have some other games I love playing on it too. But of course, it has some really great Virtual Console games where I hit on Earthbound, that was the very first time I ever played that. I downloaded it's $10 here in America, but it's $10 well spent, especially since these economic times, you got these bastards who sell just a card itself for like $200 on eBay.
Yeah, exactly.
So this is a nice alternative. My only gripe though is I really wish they would increase the amount of Virtual Console games, because it's great that they have like NES and Super NES, and now they got Game Boy Advance games. I'm still waiting for Sega Genesis, TurboGrafx 16, Neo Geo. Yes, you can go into the Wii on the system and download the Virtual Console games from the Wii library. But, I'd still like to see some of these games come out on the eShop.
Okay. What about you, Zach?
Well, you see, you've just asked that question to Travis and Alexander, and we've all said Super Mario 3D World. And that is my point, to say that the Wii U has got just a handful of games that are the best games for it. So really, there's not really no games for the system. But we're all going to say Mario 3D World because that's the only game worth playing. There's really only 1 or 2 games worth playing. I mean, sure, there's probably Lego City or Monster Hunter 3D, but Skylanders, yeah, that was an okay game, but it's not an exclusive game. There's only 1 or 2 games worth playing for it. There's not a whole bunch because they haven't been supporting the system, and that is the problem with it.
Okay. Well, I'm going to make a quick perspective on the system as well, as everyone's actually basically stated what they liked and didn't like about the system itself. Now, the system itself was first released in November 8th, 2012 in America, and November 30th, 2012 on Power Regions. I got mine on day of release. It's the first entry into the 8th generation video game home console and directly competed with the Xbox One and PlayStation 4, which were released the year after. The Wii U is the first Nintendo console to support high-definition graphics, and its primary controller was the Wii U gamepad, which features embedded touchscreen. Each software title may be designed to utilize a touchscreen as being supplemental to the main TV or as only screen for off-TV play. Each game supports any combination of gamepad, Wii Remote, nunchuck, balance board, and also the classic Wii U Pro controller. By the way, the balance board you could actually use on the Rayman Rabbids game, which I have, or Rabbids U. You can sit there on your butt and actually slide your butt left and right on the Wii U Fitness balance board. The great thing about the console as well, it's backwards compatible with all the controllers on the Wii, which is awesome, but we can get into that in a little bit. It had the display motion sensor bar and features the online platforms for the Wii U, 3DS, Nintendo eShop, and official software content for the Miiverse and social network, which is dedicated to free use by Nintendo system owners and variously integrated with game and applications. Now, development, the console was first conceived in 2008 after Nintendo recognized several limitations and challenges of the Wii, and the public possession of the system created primarily for casual audiences. Now, there's a question to ask. Do you feel that this console still is not for the hardcore gamer, that it's only for the casual gamer?
It depends on the games, because the way it looks right now, since we have such a low trickle of games coming out, and not a whole lot of them are like those hardcore games like we have like with Call of Duty or Assassin's Creed or anything like that. You don't see a whole lot of games like that being available for the Wii U. So I think because in that regard, maybe the system isn't touted as a hardcore gaming machine.
Did they release that flag for the Wii U?
Yes, they did. They released Black Flag and Assassin's Creed 3 and then Call of Duty Black Ops 2.
I got Assassin's Creed 3 for it, but I never knew if they released Black Flag. I got it for the...
They did.
Oh, they did, but the reason why I bought the PS3 version, which was the same price as the Wii U version, was because it had additional downloadable content.
Well, I understand that, but I'm saying like the newer Assassin's Creed games, they're not releasing that out for the Wii U.
Yeah.
And of course, EA completely pulled it out because they're a bunch of cocks. But that's just me, of course. That's
the tasteless shit that EA have come out with about Nintendo makes you punch them from the nose.
Yeah. So I think it's because the reason why there's not a lot of like major titles coming out from the third parties coming to the Wii U. That's probably the reason why the Wii U isn't really coming across as a hardcore gaming system, which is pretty unfortunate.
Yep. And so Xander, what about you?
I can say first of all, I hate the term casual and hardcore gamers. I think it's one of the biggest naming conceptions made from the media to help sell and help appeal to an audience, and it's just spawned this controversy with gamers because, you know, they say like, you know, something like, oh, the Wii U doesn't have hardcore games. It's like, what do you consider a hardcore game? If you consider difficulty hardcore, then play Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. Play Super Mario Brothers Luigi U. Play that. There's some games that have some difficulty. Now, if you're talking about hardcore and the fact that if you're talking about bro gamers, then yeah, I mean, we don't have, you know, a whole lot of games like Gears of War and like, you know, explosions and shit like that. But the thing is, I buy games because I want to play them, not because of a status of being hardcore or casual. I don't think the Wii U is putting out as many casual games as opposed to the Wii. When I think of casual games, I think of games like Cookie Mama or carnival games. You know, games that people just can pick up, play for 2 minutes, put back down. A lot of the games on the Wii U do take some time to play. I mean, it takes a little while to get all the green stars in Super Mario Brothers 3D World. It takes a while to beat Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. I mean, so I'm on the fence about it because I don't even like the term to begin with.
Very, very true. So, casual, the thing that I find as well, I don't think the console looks at the most hardcore gamer in a sense that it doesn't have the same releases as the other consoles do in terms of third-party titles, but that's also down to third-party developers. Now, in terms of the console itself, I feel that Nintendo has a long way to go in terms of promotion, and accurately, I feel that the one thing that's letting Nintendo down in terms of the console is arrogance. Arrogance from the execs, arrogance in terms of what they're doing in terms of the console and how to promote the console and the games. And they feel that loyal Nintendo fans will always come back and purchase the consoles instead of finding new fans the way they have done before. They've kind of put themselves in a bit of a lull because they thought that what would happen with the Wii would happen with the Wii U. Would you aptly say that's that statement, Xander?
I definitely agree that there's some arrogance there, and you know, I'll go back to the whole Watch Dogs Ubisoft deal. I mean, this is a Xander conspiracy theory right here. This is I'm gonna sound crazy talking about.
You know what I'm gonna do now? I'm gonna actually make that a regular segment because I like that conspiracy theories with Xander Scullion. Just have the sound.
Yeah.
There.
Then cue the Unsolved Mysteries theme.
Yes.
Okay. Let's look at this here. Okay, Watch Dogs is coming out in August.
Yes.
for the PS4, for the Xbox One. That's all hunky-dory, okay? They're going to be releasing it later on the Wii U. Now, let's look at the fact that Ubisoft and Nintendo are not in the greatest relationship right now. And that dates all the way back to Zombie U, because Zombie U didn't, in Ubisoft's eyes, didn't make as much money as they were hoping. Okay? So let's look at it this way. Ubisoft doesn't want to be looked at as EA. EA is being looked at like the biggest assholes because they're not supporting the Wii U, and they're just overall a bad company. So it would make sense that you would release a game on the other two platforms a little early so they make a little bit more extra profit. So when it comes out for the Wii U and it doesn't make as much money, it's easier to back out and say, hey, us at Ubisoft, we've tried to help out Nintendo. We even took our time trying to make the release so much better, but it's just not making enough money. So we're just going to back out and not make any more games for Nintendo. And everyone looks at Ubisoft like they didn't do anything wrong. To me, that's where it kind of sounds a little sketchy, and that's where my foil hat gets put on, and it's a conspiracy theory right there.
Conspiracy. C-O-N-spiracy. So yeah, no, I agree with you, Xander. I think in a sense, the console itself, in terms of third parties, is ultimately being ignored. Some, like EA, are being asked about and saying, well, we're ignoring it because it basically doesn't fit our business model of doing things, and our new engine that we're doing it, doesn't have that. But the overall sense of it is that our new engine doesn't work for it, etc., etc. But the overall arrogance that's come out of EA's asses, their mouths and their asses, shows how much they're treating the console. They're treating it extremely badly, and they're saying, well, it's not next gen. Now, let's go to that whole term of not next gen. Zach, let me ask you the two questions. The first one I asked Xander in total: do you feel that Nintendo are being arrogant about the support of the Wii U? And two, what is the reason you feel that the third-party developers aren't taking care of the console itself? So let's go with the first question. Why do you feel that Nintendo are being arrogant and not supporting the Wii U? Do you think the arrogance is there?
There is no arrogance. They've come out with Mario Kart, Donkey Kong. Well, Donkey Kong's a Nintendo game, right? Yes.
Yeah.
Donkey Kong, Mario Kart, Mario 3D. There's a ton of games that are made from Nintendo that are on the Wii U, so they're not arrogant. And for the third-party support, I mean, come on, we're not even 2 years into the Wii U's lifespan. I mean, it came out November 2012. If you look at the PlayStation 3, when the PlayStation 3 came out in 2007, 2 years later in 2009, it still didn't really kick off. It only kicked off really in 2009. So we're still in the infancy of the Wii U. The third-party support will come in naturally. In 2008, on a PlayStation 3, there was not a lot of games available for it. It only came in slowly. So the Wii U is going to be exactly the same. In about 1 year, I think there's going to be a ton explosion of games. They did the same thing with the 3DS. When they came out, everyone was criticising the bad sales and the lack of games. Now look at it. The 3DS is one of the greatest handhelds of all time. When it came out, everyone was criticising it. It's going to be the same with the Wii U. I'm just waiting.
What about you, Travis? Same questions.
And can you repeat them again, please? I know I had two of them there.
Do you feel that Nintendo's being arrogant about the way they're supporting the console? And if they are, also, why do you think third-party developers aren't supporting it? Do you think they're just not supporting it because it's next gen, or do you think there's other reasons in there?
I don't think it's arrogance that Nintendo has any. Why Nintendo might be having problems with the Wii U. I think what really it's about is we have to kind of go back to previous consoles to kind of answer this question. When Nintendo comes out of the system, the first thing they want to make sure of is when they have a new system come out, they want to make sure that it's affordable for people to pick up, take home, and play and enjoy and everything. And that's what they've always been known about. And even for like the Nintendo 64, which I will say it was kind of an odd choice that they did not go with CD-based technology as the medium. They still stuck with cartridges, but the games were still pretty cool. I mean, it would have been kind of fun to have had Final Fantasy VII for that system, but as large as the game that went onto the PlayStation.
Yeah. And as Zach pointed out, it was because of the fact that they couldn't fit the game onto the cartridge, or very limited, so they could do something instead. Mm-hmm. But it wasn't, again, but this is the one thing I want to point out there. You never heard Square once BSing or bitching about the Nintendo 64. They never once said, this console, we hate Nintendo or anything like that. They just went, the fact is the PlayStation could fit more of what we envisioned. That was it.
Across several discs. Although that would have been kind of cool that they could have made Final Fantasy VII for Nintendo 64 and have that spread across some cartridges. Only problem with that was it would have been a very expensive game for people to buy. But regardless of that, that's kind of straight from my point I was trying to make. And then we get to the GameCube, which, although that was very odd and stuff that they were using these small discs, as the medium, the system was still about as powerful as the PS2, which is pretty nice.
It was actually, the small disc actually made it have less load times.
Yeah, it was incredibly faster. I mean, some people, for instance, SSX Tricky, that came out on all three platforms. It actually loaded a lot faster on the GameCube simply because it was on a smaller controller. A smaller disc. But the thing is, at the same time, it was an affordable system. And then we have the Wii that comes out. This is where things kind of have a bit of a problem, is the Wii had the same power and same graphics as the GameCube. And the thing is, at that point, like when Wii U came out, then they had the PS3 and the Xbox 360, those were higher advanced systems, graphically, and the things that they could do and everything. And the Wii, although a great system that sold incredibly well, like 99 million, that was mentioned earlier in the show here, that became a hot item. And now with the Wii U...
I don't understand the reason why it became a hot item. The first because of casual fans, but the second reason is because it was heavily pirated.
Yeah, that's true. Like the Homebrew channel, that was out for quite some time.
Yeah. That was literally 3 months into the lifespan.
Dildo.
The Homebrew channel was released a few months into the lifespan.
I didn't even know about this Homebrew channel. What is this Homebrew channel about?
It allows you to modify the system via software, so you didn't have to put a chip in it. So you could play copied games and do whatever you wanted to do with the system.
How about input games?
Yes.
You could even download ROMs onto an SD card. You can play that through the Homebrew channel. You can actually play like SNES or Genesis games.
And you could also play it via a hard drive. You had a MAME emulator. You even had a PlayStation 1 emulator on there. And the funny thing, people were like, well, the Wii sold well. But yeah, the Wii sold well because of the fact that first, casual gamers were buying it for their granny and granddads to have at their homes. You had people playing the games leisurely. I played it because it was my first, I'm a Nintendo loyalist. But there was loads of reasons. These consoles were going back in droves because people weren't happy with the systems, who are for more of a hardcore sort of game set. It's not a bad thing, but in the same sense, there was a variety of reasons why the console sold. Now, going on to that, we're now back to the Wii U. So, sorry, Travis, you were on a train of thought there. I kind of interrupted you.
No worries. But then, like I said, the Wii was the same graphical power as the GameCube, which is kind of strange. I mean, these other systems are a little higher in advance. The only reason why the Wii sold so well is because of the Wii Remote and, of course, Wii Sports, which was a nice novelty thing. I enjoyed the hell out of it. And every now and then, for nostalgia purposes, I'll play it, to say, oh, yeah, I remember I used to score this much in bowling and all that. But now we got the Wii U, and it's more advanced, but it's about as advanced as the PS3 and 360. And now we got the PS4 and the Xbox One that's out, and they're more advanced. But the thing is, Nintendo always had the thing in their mind is, we want to make sure that these systems are affordable so people can go out and play, our system, play these games that we're going to have coming out for it, even though they are very lacking at this point, but that's just a moot point at this time. But it's just that they've always tried to cut costs by using older technology in order to make the system sell, which is unfortunate. If they would have released the Wii U with as much graphical prowess as the PS4 and the Xbox One, I can understand it would probably cost a bit more, which I'd be fine with. I wouldn't mind, as long as it didn't include the gamepad, because that would be like the Xbox One with the Kinect. It's just there, and it's not necessary.
Yeah. No, I agree totally for you on that one. Now, looking at the console, it has everything that people were going on about as well. Backwards compatibility. It has, basically, you don't waste in terms of buying peripherals for it because everything is included. You already have it at home if you own the Wii. The console itself has a good load of games, as what Zach was pointing out. Zach has been pointing this out. Now, going from there, let's talk about this a little bit. We're going to give a top 10. We'll do a sort of top 10 list. We don't have to announce top 10 for each of us, but we're going to do a joint top 10 list of what we feel the Wii U, the most positive things are about the Wii U. So let's do that first. Travis, go for number one. What do you think for number one is the best thing here that the Wii U has to offer? And
well, I kind of...
particular order here, folks.
All right. Well, for me, as I alluded to with my little thing I mentioned earlier, it's as powerful as both the PS3 and Xbox 360, which, like, if you would put some of these older PS3 game or third-party games that come out of these other systems, they can easily put it on the Wii U. Why? I don't know, but hey.
Yep. Xander, what about you?
Like, you're asking me what I think is the best thing about the Wii U? Like, what I want them to do with the Wii U, or what do I think in the current state, what's the best thing?
In the current state with the Wii U, what do you think is the best thing about it? So number two, what is your best thing you feel that the Wii U has to offer?
If they pump it out, games. They have, they're a gaming system. That's something that I've always liked about Nintendo. It's about the games. It's not about, connecting to your cable service, or it's not about, this, that, and the other. It's just Nintendo makes games, and I'm hoping they make more because, we got a little bit of a gaming drought going on. Remember I was telling people, go to GameStop, ask for a pre-order list, and you'll see what I'm talking about.
Zach, for number three, what would you say is the best thing about the Wii U?
The fact that when I lose my remote control, I can use that huge... I'm never going to lose my remote control with the Wii U, and I can change the volume and change the channels. I think that's great.
TV integration, that's a great thing there. For what you don't know, it's actually easier than a Sky remote. It's easier than a cable remote to hook that thing up to your TV. You just have to put the TV's manufacturer, press the on-off button, the thing will switch your TV off. So I compare it with any TV in the house, old or new, believe it or not. Even an old analog television, I've tried it. Travis, number 5. Was it number 4? So number 4, what do you think is the best thing about the Wii U?
I want to say it has, I have a pretty long list here. You can easily transfer everything from your Wii to the Wii U very seamlessly.
Yep, backwards compatibility. Everything that you have on your Wii there goes straight onto the Wii U. And it doesn't just go for games, folks, it goes for peripherals as well. You can transfer everything straight onto your new console. Okay, number 5, Xander.
I like the fact that it's got a camera on it. That you can communicate with your friends and stuff like that. That's kind of cool. I mean, I don't really have a whole lot of things to say about the Wii other than I like the fact that it plays games and it's got some features I really enjoy about it.
So there you go for number 5 there, folks. Xander's talking about the fact that you can talk to people online. You've got a better video chat service than Skype. You've got a better video chat service than your FaceTime on your 3G phones here. You have a very good video chat service that you can actually... I could take my tablet around the room, and I've done this. Me and Xander have compared games, and we've actually been showing our tablets around our games room. Great conversations there. Okay, number 6. Zach, what do you have for us? Number 6. What's the 6th best thing about the Wii U?
I was going to say it's not, I mean, loads of consoles can do this, but I think the fact that you can easily plug in an external hard drive, that makes it pretty neat to do that, because, I don't know, I just find that a cool feature.
Tailor-made for additional space there, folks. That's actually another good feature with it. You could do it with the Wii. Eventually was patched to do this, but with the Wii U, you can actually add an external hard drive onto the system to get more memory. Okay, Travis, another one for us. I'll let you tackle 7 and 8, Travis, because Xander hasn't got many other things today. So put it. Yeah. 7 and 8, go for it.
Dude, you can download Earthbound from the Virtual Console.
Yes, Earthbound. Think about this, peeps. Earthbound is an amazing, amazing title.
Overrated.
A title that you will have to pay, like, usually you're paying over $100 for this living thing just as a cart. You can download it. At one point you were able to download it for £3.89 in the UK as a special discounted price, because they had it discounted on the Virtual Console. And it stopped a lot of arsehole fucking oversellers selling that game for an extortionate amount of price. So, number 9 there, Travis? Or was it 7 and 8? No, sorry, number...
It's number 8.
Yep, number 8. Number 8. Simpsons reference.
It's very compact for such a robust system.
Very compact, yeah, and you know what? It doesn't make that fan noise that your Xbox 360 does or your PlayStation 3 does. It's a very compact system, and it has the same type of graphical interface that these other two systems do. And for number 9, Zach?
Number 9?
Number 9. I like the fact that, actually, I just feel like saying a down thing about it. It's not the best thing. I want to criticise it there. I know I'm supposed to say a bad thing, but I think... is it okay if I just say a bad thing about it? Because number 9, really...
We'll hold that off. We'll hold that off for a second. Number 9, I'll put it out there. Free online play.
Yeah.
I know it's dodgy, but you have...
It's not free, because you have to pay for an internet subscription every month.
Doesn't matter. You don't actually have to pay Nintendo a subscription every month. So you get free online play in comparison to its other, the other parties. Compared to Microsoft, compared to Sony, you get free online play.
It is Wi-Fi, so if you can steal from a neighbor, it's technically all the way free.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we don't condone the opinions of Xander Scully in here.
I do. I'm kidding.
In terms of stealing. But yeah, it is free online gameplay. You can play with your friends online for free. And last but not least, number 10. Xander, do you have a 10 for us, or should I go for giving Travis the number 10 spot?
Just give it to Travis. I've said what I had to say.
Travis?
It's just fun to say Wii U, because it actually goes back to, who's seen that movie Kung Pao?
Yes, I have.
Yeah.
Okay, so you know what I'm referring to.
Yeah.
Wii U!
But you know what? I will say that this, apart from the fact that the Wii U, local multiplayer. Proper local multiplayer. Not like the shit you get from the Xbox 360, where it's either online or local. You get proper local multiplayer. You can play with your family at home. You can experience gaming with your friends in the comfort of your own home. You can use every single peripheral you have to play a local game with your kids, with your family, with your friends. And hell, I've even at one point had a combination of online and local multiplayer where me and my kids played Xander at Sonic All-Star Races. So there you go, folks. That's our top 10, or well, I'll give it a top 11 because it is fun to say the Wii U there. So that's our top 11 positive things about the Wii U. If you've got any positive things, you let us know. Facebook.com, I've got gameplay. Let us know exactly what the most positive things for you about the Wii U are. Now, that being said, guys, let's let Zach say his negative. Go on, Zach.
There's 3 negatives. Right. First negative is that there's no Blu-ray, DVD, or CD support. That is completely piss-taking, that.
Oh, okay.
I don't like that. Adding a friend is like trying to add someone on the Sega Netlink. it's like ringing up, like on the Wii, you have to like make a huge like phone number call just to add someone saying that I didn't like. And the third thing, I actually forgot. Yeah, I think there's only two things actually. Yeah, there's only two things. Oh no, the first thing actually, like what Travis said, he said that the graphic wise it's like PS3 and Xbox 360, and that the Wii was more like the GameCube graphic wise. Okay, he's talking about the graphics, but personally, we all know as gamers that graphics don't make a game.
Right.
Graphics, it's the gameplay what counts, and that's what made the Wii successful, because with that controller was so great, it's so fun to play. You have to think about the fun and gameplay before the graphics, so that's why.
I agree with you on that one. So,
Can I just address one thing though?
Go for it.
When I buy a game system, I really don't care that if it plays Blu-ray movies or CDs or anything like that. That's not really what helps me want to buy a system. I just want to play video games on it. That's all I care about. And maybe that's why Nintendo, when it came with their systems, that's why they don't allow any DVDs or Blu-rays or anything to be played in their systems, because at the end of the day, Nintendo's a gaming company, and they just want to sell video game systems. I mean, I understand with like PS3 and all the PlayStation systems and Xbox 360 with the DVDs, and of course now with Xbox One with Blu-rays and all that. I understand people want to get like this home a system that does everything. It's like a home entertainment system and all that. But at the end of the day, I just want to play games. I really could care less if it plays movies or anything.
If only we all thought like you, the Dreamcast would be still alive right now.
But saying that as well, I am going to put out a reference here. It's actually been stated that the Dreamcast sold more units than the Wii U has currently have, and it was actually then binned by Sega.
Yeah, because they was just losing. They knew it was a losing battle, because when the PS2 said we're going to have DVD support, and you had 3 consoles you had to fight, GameCube, the new Xbox, and the PS2, it's just too much. But for me, the Xbox spiritual successor to the Dreamcast, with the controllers similar, and most of the titles like Shenmue 2, Sonic Adventure 2, there was all on there. So really, Xbox is still what Dreamcast was. It's a shame that it went, because Sega, I really would want them to come back with all my heart, because I love the Dreamcast. I love all their consoles. I'd rather have Xbox out and Sega back.
Now, with that being said, folks, as I said, you can leave a comment on Facebook.com, iGotGameplay. They can tweet us at iGotGameplay. And now we're going to go to the plugs. So we'll start with you, Xander, because I can hear your guitar playing in the background.
Yeah, you guys can check me out on Excess Gaming Podcast, the other podcast that I host, on Podomatic.com, and also I have a couple of episodes on YouTube. It's a long process, so I'm trying to convert and update the YouTube channel with the podcast episodes, but I also make videos as well. That's youtube.com/XanderScullion. And you can also check out all of my videos on the I Got Gameplay page, Nerd Genius, and RetroOnLim.com.
Oh my God, he mentioned Nerd Genius. I did. I feel really special. So Travis, where can we hear you from?
You can hear me here on Retro Unlim. On Thursday nights, I have my own show, which is The Radio Show. It's pretty free form. We let our hair down and do whatever the hell we want to do because, well, we're human beings and we talk about the strangest news stories, play the raunchiest music, and just do things that the FCC would totally frown upon here in this country. And that is the Radio Show, hosted by yours truly. And, of course, we got Michael Burhan. And we also have Craig Kellerman, who comes on and he does this thing as well. And
I have to say as well, Craig has been, amazing. He hosted this week's episode while Travis was on a bit of his rebuttal, because he was sabbatical, shall I say, rebuttal. He was on sabbatical, due to the fact that he wasn't feeling very well.
I had the flu, and that was not a lot of fun. And I'm still not 100%, but I'm a lot better than I have been, so that's good.
Oh, agree on that one.
Yeah. And then, of course, on Tuesday nights, I'm on Miguel's podcast. Miguel Leon has the Untitled Movie Show, which is just that. It's all about movies. And myself, Miguel, who is the host, and of course Michael Burhan, we're on that show every Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. And also on Saturday nights here on Retro Unlim, we've got I Got Gameplay, and I'll let our dear Michael talk about that, because this is the show you're listening to us on. That's on every 8 p.m. every Saturday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. And on Mega Powers Radio, I'm with the Daceman Show. It's 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. That's a pretty awesome show. If you like the radio show, you'll love the Daceman Show. And on YouTube, you can find me youtube.com/rosecoloredreviews and youtube.com/rosecoloredletsplay. If you want to get a hold of me personally, I'm on Twitter. TravisScott79 is my handle. And Facebook.com/TravisScott1979 is where you can find me on there as well. You can talk to me on there or also on our Retro Unlim Network Facebook page. Check it all out.
And Zach, where can we find you?
Facebook, and I have a YouTube channel called The Retro Gamer #1 that's coming together. If not, that's pretty much it. I don't know really anything.
And he's also a manager of several forums as well. What forums?
Oh yeah, 7 pages. A Resident Evil 4 page, Resident Evil 6 page, which has a lot of likes in that one. Personal page about video games and movies and random shit too, that's the name of it. Resident Evil Armageddon page, and a High School of the Dead Season 2 petition page. You can see me on that.
High School of the Dead? I've never even heard of that show.
Oh, it's a great anime. You should really check that out. If you like zombies and if you like kids, then combine the two together.
Let's put those hands together.
It's like peanut butter and chocolate, baby.
Exactly. Bread and butter. Yeah, that was it.
Oh, awesome. You can also check us out on the Retro Unlim, www.retrounlim.com, who sponsor the Retro Unlim Network, of course, which have a great load of shows. Every Monday night, you can actually check John Latimer out, as he basically brings his guests on his shows and reviews. Basically, they have to bring 5 items, I believe, it's 5 items, including a book, games of their choice, and also a luxury item that they'd like to bring onto a desert island. It's a great show, great conversations. He's had Rob Mann, Dave Wade. He's had a load of the Retro Unlimmers on that show as well as others. He's trying to get Steve Benway on. So if, you know Steve Benway and you want to mention it in passing, do so, peeps. I'm also going to our Play Expo over here in the UK in Blackpool. So I'm going to be there with all the Retro Unlim guys. So if you want to go and check us out, you can do. We're going to be about conducting interviews with several developers, talking games, and also trying to let people know about our network and what we're doing as well. Tuesday nights, you can check Miguel Leon out on the Untitled Movie Show at 8 p.m. and also Clint Davis on the XFI network at 3 p.m. Wednesdays, we have an open slot, so if anybody wants to actually do a radio show on Wednesdays, you are more than welcome to. Thursdays, we have Travis Goss and his radio show, of course, and Fridays, we have Clint Davis and XFI at 3 again. And Friday nights, we also have the Retro Unlim videocast that we have myself and a selection of other hosts from the Retro Unlim Network doing a live show and a live stream as we talk everything, including current news and games alike. And sometimes we go into a bit of a banter.
You still with us, Burhan?
I don't think he is.
Yeah, I don't know what happened, but we lost you there for a moment.
Okay, you can check us out on Retro Unlim radio show as well. We do a video cast where we do live stream. We've had guys like the Game Chasers on. We've had people like Stuart Ashens, Larry Bunny Jr. as well, and loads of other celebs on these shows as well, and also Rob Mann. We've had like loads of great guests, and also have a hilarity and fun. We get a lot of people following that show as well. That's live on Google Plus on the Retro Unlim YouTube channel. And you know, where if you want to join in on the banter, you can always go down there, check us out on there as well. And as always, www.retrounlim.com. You want to check out us, you can check out I Got Gameplay on fanboysanonymous.com, where we all put the archives on there as well. We're live on Stitcher, iTunes, and also Blog Talk Radio via the Retro Unlim Network. And as always now, folks, just to end the show, for Travis Goss, for Zach Noun, for Xander Scullion, for Zach Latour, Carlo DePietro, I'm Michael Burhan saying we've got gameplay. Have you?